Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
It is time for the crossover. It's powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha and everlowconcrete.com. Were you guys able with the late 7:50 Central start time to stay up last night?
It's not late.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
In Nova Scotia, it was 9:50. Do we not want to grow the game of basketball in the home of Sidney Crosby?
Well,
To the 51st state?
how many people are there in Nova Scotia? Like 40?
Oh, good question.
I feel like that's disrespectful. There's probably
Why?
a decent amount. It's not Saskatchewan.
1 million.
Okay.
A million?
Yeah, it's just as many
Yeah,
as Omaha. Just
this-
because it's in a different country and it's got a different type of thing, you think you're all high and mighty saying there's 40 people in Nova Scotia?
A million people is not a lot of people.
Hey, isn't that where
It's not a small
isn't that
amount.
where
It's not 40
meteorologist,
people.
Frankie lives? Is
Yeah.
Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is,
yeah. Sydney,
Okay.
Nova Scotia. Yeah.
So it belongs to Canada, so we'd have to make a trade. But do we want Greenland or Nova Scotia?
I'll take Nova Scotia.
I think Nova Scotia produces more professional athletes than Greenland.
Yeah.
we need two-way centers badly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need guys who can play on both ends of the ice. I mean, we need a 200-foot hockey player very badly. So I would take Nova Scotia, unless, I mean, we're good on goalies. So I don't think we need Greenland. I'll take some Nova Scotia boys. You give me 20 Nova Scotia boys, we could win the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah, I'll coach them.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That's cool.
So we're all in agreement that the Mountain
Oh.
Time Zone is the best time zone for sports.
Either that or Pacific. Yeah.
But you've been out to the West Coast. It is odd.
I do love starting a college football Saturday at 10 a.m. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. During COVID years.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Really?
I really don't like the 10 a.m. kick in the West Coast. Like I've spent
Now, I didn't have to go to
time-
any games, right? It's just for
Yeah.
watching on TV.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I love a 12 p.m. kick. I like the whole
Wow.
waking up, like getting your breakfast, having the day ahead of you, maybe prepping some food beforehand, and then watching the game.
How about a
and
9
then
o'clock
snacking.
national championship game start?
Like 9 p.m.
I mean, that's what it would have been last night.
Yeah, no, hell
It
no.
was
I
9
hate that.
p.m. Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh,
hate
I
that.
just couldn't
Hey,
do it.
I
I
hate
don't
that.
think any of you guys have lived on the Eastern Time Zone. Well, you have.
Yeah.
It takes some getting used to that prime time is 8 to 11 and that your local news starts at 11.
Crazy.
That was an adjustment for me living out there.
I'm not a big
But
fan.
but starting it in the past it would be 9:20 is crazy. I mean, remember when Monday Night Football on the East Coast used to start at 9 and it used to start at 8 here?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they did that.
What do you prefer more?
I have found just like we wake up, you're in Las Vegas, and then the games just start.
Yes.
It's
I-
it's amazing.
I hate that. I hate that.
When we went and watched we went to the Circuit Book and we flew out at like 7 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
from here, got there, and the NFL game started at 10. But by the time we got there, it was just short of 9, in the morning. So we had all this time, and then we just sat there. The NFL game started at 10, and it was awesome. The mid-afternoon started at 1:30.
I see.
was
I can
beautiful.
see. I like the idea of the mid-afternoon starting at 1:30, but I can see how you doing that one time, like it being a thing that you've done. You could be like, "Oh, that's cool. Like I enjoyed that." I don't know if I could do that week in and week out. Like I just don't think I could just wake up, roll out of bed, and then start rooting for my team.
I would rather have that than the game starting at 10 or p.m. Or 9 p.m.
No, I would much rather them start at 10 a.m. than 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate that. Yeah, no,
That's
we're
what
in
I'm saying.
agreement there.
That's what
But
I'm
in
saying. So
terms of
then the night game
12
start at
p.m.,
5 or 6.
12 p.m. though, compared to 10 a.m., I would much rather have the first games
Yeah, I'm
begin at
good.
12.
I'll take the trade.
The very few times I've experienced this, it's been during basketball season, and it gets to be like 7 o'clock, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what do we do now? Now the game's over. What do we do?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You could go
You
to
got
bed
the whole night.
You go to bed at 9.
I
I'm
do
a good
love the Super Bowl 5:30 start time. I've always enjoyed It's starting at 5.
Oh, I need the whole next day off because, oh my gosh, the game went to 8 o'clock.
Be 3:30 in the afternoon.
I hate that. I don't like
but
that.
that's great because when the Super Bowl is over, you can go out for dinner and it's only like 8 o'clock.
Isn't
Like if
that
you watch
amazing?
Sunday Night Football, you live on the West Coast and you're watching Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football is over like at 8.
Yeah.
And you're like, I still got a couple more hours of my Sunday night.
Team is never good enough where they're consistently playing the night games. My team is always
You'd be
on.
watching a lot of 10 a.m. starts.
I watch a lot, exactly.
Or 11. It'd be 11.
I
yeah.
watch a lot of 12 p.m. first kick games, okay? So I know, like, yeah, for a Chiefs fan, I'm sure living on the West Coast would be great. For my dumpster fire of a franchise that nobody wants to lay their eyes on them, right? I prefer being in Central.
Maybe one day they'll be good.
How did they determine 7:50?
Yeah.
Like not 7:30 or 8
don't know.
o'clock.
Because
we went at 7:50
Because then
Central
they
Time.
say coverage starts at 7.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, the game doesn't actually start until basically 8.
Well, you figure you probably have to do 30 minutes of pregame.
Yeah.
And then you got to keep them an extra quarter hour.
Okay.
So 7:50.
Well, is
7:50.
it was the tip was pretty much at 7:50, right?
Yeah,
was-
7:50.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
exactly
I mean, they
7:50.
cut away from the pregame at around 7:30. I mean,
and started doing lineups and
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
I think there are only a couple of sports that if you say you're starting at 1, they start at 1. Soccer always starts.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you say kickoff is 1, it's starting at 1, or high school sports. Like high school football, the game starting at 7, it starts exactly at 7.
College baseball.
College baseball doesn't always start.
They'll go 6 o'clock start tonight. We'll be looking about 6:03.
Yeah.
Be 6:03.
I do love
But
that
it's-
about
It's up in the air.
about Major League Baseball. The fact that you will see on the schedule, like, no, first pitch is at 1:13. Right? We are throwing the ball at 12:48 today.
That one year the White Sox did 7-Eleven
Yes.
first pitch, sponsored by 7-Eleven.
Oh, that's great. They need the money.
Like on the
They won't
pocket
spend it.
schedule, it should say 2:40 kickoff.
Yeah.
The Nebraska Michigan State game is 2:40. Don't give me 2:30.
On Fox
Give me
Business.
2:40.
like for the Cubs games, your 1:20 afternoon starts if you're
Yes.
if you're on the West Coast.
But
You're talking 11:20 in the morning.
And the game's over by 2:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Now that
beautiful.
is an adjustment of like baseball and pro sports starting where it's like, on the East Coast, the game starts at 7 o'clock local.
yeah.
At 5, you got to be paying attention to.
Have you ever been on the West Coast watching the Masters?
No.
No.
Now that would be an experience. It's getting
Is it like
dark. It's
2.
3:30 in the afternoon. Oh, the Masters just ended. What do we do? What do we do the rest of the day? There's a whole day in front of us.
I don't know.
You missed the early morning.
I
stuff.
like the mount. I think mountain time is the best because I could not do 10 a.m. kicks, but I could do an 11 a.m. kick. I could do that. I could
Okay.
mess with that. I like the idea of, hey, after Sunday Night Football, you could go out and eat later. Like that sounds fun.
That's
like
why Al
your day
Michaels
just
doesn't
is-
go east of the Mississippi.
That's true.
But I like having, but for me, the morning, I like to have the recoup time of like the wake up and like my 4 hour my mental pregame.
I would rather just be forced into it.
So you enjoyed, let's say, the 10 a.m. local kick for Nebraska, Colorado 2 years ago.
Nah, I hated that.
Well, if I would have been in the bout, but I was here, so it was 11. But yeah,
I needed I like play the game in my head before the game is played.
Excuse me?
Like in my head, I visualize the game being played.
The whole game?
The Bears game, yeah.
See, I think about it less than you do.
Well, when it comes to the Bears, I think all day I'm just thinking about what
Wouldn't
this
that take off
game
a lot of stress
is
for you
going
if it just started?
I've already seen this
You,
one.
you didn't have to. You didn't have to think about it at all. It was just like, here it is.
I kind of like the torture.
Okay,
Whoa.
all right, there you go.
What do they call them? Masochism? Masochism?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
There
right.
you go.
That's right. He loves the pain.
That's why I'm a Bears fan.
Chris says living in Oregon watching the Huskers kick off at 9 a.m. was brutal.
Yeah, it does not sound fun. It does not sound fun to just roll out of bed and immediately be stressed. Okay? Because that's all my football teams do. My football teams do not make me happy. My football
But
teams
in
make
your
me
case,
stressed.
in your case, if you
I'm sure
if you have
Gary, happy go lucky go, his team never loses, loves.
Oh, we play
loves-
all over the map.
Yeah.
That's true.
loves those early kicks.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah,
they don't even
day,
get-
Now we're gonna play on
night.
Christmas.
They don't even get noon kicks anymore, the
Yeah.
Chiefs. So for you though, like, let's just say, it seems like you have a little bit of a slow rolling out of the rack on Saturday.
The
and
month of
Sunday.
October was the worst month of my life last year.
So how about I offer
I went
you this?
0-8.
How about I offer you this?
Yeah.
You
Go
watch the
ahead.
first half in your broken bed.
Okay. Okay.
It's just that you take a shower at halftime, then you're up, then you're watching the rest of the game, and the game's over.
I
I
don't.
can't imagine watching my team while I'm laying in bed.
Yeah. No. That does not.
It's
Once
an
again-
option for young Matt.
Once again, I think that's a terrible option for me. I think I'm up and moving, man. Like I am on the sideline.
You know, if
Okay.
you weren't
like I'm in coach's stance. I'm right here. Whole game.
if you
You
weren't
just have
living
to
your life like Howard Ratner from Uncut Gems, you could probably enjoy your sports
I'm
watching.
going to tell you something right
I
now.
want KG.
I am not like this way because I'm
over
sweating
points,
bets.
over rebounds.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
When it comes to my two football teams on Saturdays and Sundays,
My man's
I'm not-
just locked in.
I'm not sweating. Listen,
Dresses as the coach.
listen. I'm not sweating bets. I'm sweating happiness.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm
Okay.
sweating.
So
Okay.
Texture
I'm
says,
sweating the right to be happy.
Texture from
and I
402
lose.
says, I hate it when the Vikings play in London at 8:30.
I hated that too.
I
We had
love-
a London
I
game
love
this
when
year.
the London I love when the London
do.
games happen.
The only thing is, like, if you're in fantasy, you got to remember that.
Yeah.
So you got to get in.
Yeah.
The London games are always weird because I wake up and I never go, okay, the London game is on. I gotta lock in and watch that. It's always, okay, get breakfast, check my
takes-
phone. Oh,
It
there's a
takes
football
the
game
place
on.
of the pregame show, which
Yes.
you only half watch
Yes.
anyway.
So
It's
what
kinda
time
nice.
will be the kickoff for the Australia game this year?
on the ball.
There's an Australia NFL game this year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it this
Joey?
year? Is it this year or next
I
year?
believe it's this year with the Chargers.
Let's see.
I think it's the Chargers.
Melbourne to host first NFL in 2026.
Oh, next
Okay.
The Rams will be
Rams.
the
Oh, Rams.
team for
See,
that.
I was off on both.
You had an LA team, it counts.
Yeah.
So what is?
I was halfway there.
Are they anywhere besides London this year?
I believe Brazil is back.
Brazil.
Okay, so that game
That definitely wasn't a nightmare.
That was a night game there,
It was.
but it was a night game
Friday.
here.
It was a Friday.
Yeah.
They were in Central Time Zone. I
Okay.
think. Yeah. This will not. They are not in the Central Time Zone.
Is Joey
in
still walking
Australia?
Joey!
Yeah. I heard it was reported to me that Joey was working on the NFL schedule while he was producing the Creighton baseball game over the weekend.
He was.
We were going to check in on him with that a couple times.
I asked him about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I go, "Have you started it?" And he gave me a big sigh. He goes, "Oh."
Okay, so we're going to Brazil again. We're going to Berlin. We're going to Madrid. And
Why
we are
would-
going to Dublin this year.
All right, can I?
Because the Steelers, remember, in
Bubbling
Dublin.
in Dublin.
Let me tell you something right now.
Bubbling
Let's
in
take
Dublin.
time out. Let's take time out here. I liked it when it was 1 to 2 London games a year. All right, I liked
I
it
got
when it
3
was.
this year.
It's a little much.
It's getting a little out of hand now.
Mhm.
All right, like I don't need.
It's always the Jags anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have to
They only-
care.
I just
They play there one time in Wembley.
well they stayed there back-to-back weeks because they were like, yeah, we win here, so we're gonna stay here.
Why would they
I'm just
wanna
not a
play
big
in-
fan of them going. They're going everywhere.
The owner
We're playing
doesn't
all-
want to play in Jacksonville. He wants to play in London. It's cool.
It's
Whatever.
a weird owner, and a weird son.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm excited. I don't know what they don't have a kickoff time for the Melbourne game next year yet, but it's gonna be odd. Whatever
Well,
it is.
hold on. What time is it right now in Madrid, Spain? So it's 5:14 in the afternoon. So they are 7 hours ahead of us.
okay.
It is 1:14 in the morning right now in Melbourne.
So Madrid would be similar to
Tomorrow,
London.
it's tomorrow already
Mm.
in Melbourne.
So I wonder when they'll play that game.
So if they played an afternoon game, like 12 hours from now, it would be
jeez,
it'd be like 10 o'clock here. There's no way to do it.
Uh,
Really. They'd have to play.
so how many? Wait, how
It'd
many?
have to be like an 11 o'clock start, 11 a.m. their start. It'd be like an 8 o'clock p.m. start. here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when,
That's
they have,
exactly
when the
what it would be.
Australian Open is on ESPN, it's usually like 11 or midnight,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they're in the daytime.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Wouldn't
of the
that
night.
wouldn't
Yeah.
that be? That's kind of a mind f. No,
You're not gonna do tape
you're
delay.
watching.
No,
You're watching like an 11 a.m. Like you're watching a game at night and they're playing and it's bright as like it is completely sunny. Like it's as sunny as it could possibly get over on the TV that you're watching your team play at.
Even Dublin was kind of weird. It was they're 6 or 7 hours ahead of us, I think.
Yeah.
Something like
But that is like
this is they're almost a whole
day. They're a whole day ahead. It'll be like night. Like you will be a little bit like dozing off a bit. Like your day will be over. And it will be like bright as hell on your TV screen watching these two teams play.
Fantastic. Very cool. Very cool.
We're
the
used to
Olympics, they just tape delay it, you know. They're just like, we'll put it on whenever.
Or what if they have like them play at like 5 a.m. local time?
I don't think they would do that.
That would be you'd screw with guys' clocks.
That'd be crazy.
That would be like, what is that?
I don't know. You'd screw with guys' clocks because
It'd be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I think
for
the
us.
Chargers, whoever's in that game,
Rams,
they're going to have to come back and play the following week.
Really?
No way.
There's
Because
no way.
I think they're putting it at the beginning of the schedule. Because if not, you would be screwed up.
I think you're screwed up no matter what.
Yeah, because it's a how long of a flight
Well,
to get there?
also-
it's like an 18-hour flight, isn't it?
Holy Lord.
Traveling to Australia.
Well, we got to grow the game, Happer. This is so stupid. It's so stupid that they're out there.
Well, this year, when Nebraska goes to the Rose Bowl to play UCLA, they will have a night game.
I hope so.
That will be a probably 7 o'clock local game, so 9 here.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
See, that's
Who's got big red overreaction?
Yeah, who wants it? Who
I'll
wants
take
it?
I'll take it.
Yeah, it is kind of Matt time.
Yeah, that'll be.
That's going to do a lot of big red overreaction, make up for lost time.
I got a feeling that I'll be the Toyota call to the pen on a lot of big red overreactions this year, and people will be thrilled about it.
Oh yeah. Got to get the takes. It's less you, and it's more.
I've done one.
I've done one. The most important voice of all, yours.
Oh, you mean the fans?
Yes.
It's the fans' voice.
Yeah.
Not my voice. My voice doesn't matter.
No, not
The fans.
yours. Yours.
Yours. I
What
did a
is this
big.
advertisement. Oh, it's for Cox Kids Day.
Oh, my voice is probably under here.
Oh,
right
wow.
now.
Oh,
turn it up,
you want a
turn it up.
cookie?
Hey!
Our guy made it big. He
TV
made it
boy.
big.
I'm on TV.
Wow.
Cox Kids Day.
/Kids Day.
There you go. That's it.
Is your voice on here? Is your voice
You
on
were
here?
just on ESPN.
Wow.
Wow. You made it. You made it, kid. Welcome to the
Wow.
worldwide leader.
Cox Kids
Take
Day.
that, Kugler.
Yeah.
That's coming up.
And now you've been fired because we got to pay Stephen A. Smith his $20 million.
Get your tickets, children. It's 3 weeks from today. Cox Kids Day.
You want to hang out with 7,000-8,000 elementary school kids?
Oh, I had a great time. I was given a ticket to the Omaha baseball game, and I was seated next to our finest 8-year-old baseball players
That's
on the
awesome.
first base line. It was great. Shout out the pace setters.
Okay, so Amazing Daniel read the fine print here more than I did. He says the game will be played before 1 p.m. local time to ensure primetime viewing in the U.S.
Before 1 p.m.
Yeah, so they're going to do an afternoon, like an early afternoon kick, so it's like 7 or 8 here.
It'll be summer there too.
No.
Well,
no, I think it'll be winter.
Early fall.
Wouldn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Early fall here is late spring. There.
So okay, so in
What's the
January,
conversion
in
rate?
January here,
There
remember
is-
the Australian Open usually is like 100 degrees
Yeah,
in
it's,
January.
yeah. There's people dropping during that thing.
No, they have. I follow like Australian influencers on Instagram, and during the heat of my winter, they're going through their summer.
You follow Australian Instagram.
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
I do.
Not
Males
shocked
or
by
females?
that.
Robert Irwin.
What's-
Robert Irwin.
Oh
the-
yeah, he's
the,
big right
the
now.
crocodile hunter.
They love him.
I've been following him for a while. There is a female Instagram influencer. She's a fitness girl,
Uh-huh.
fitness woman.
She's
They
the one
all
that
are.
came into the U.S. and was trying to break a record and got kicked out.
No, no,
Because she is from Australia.
Nice.
no, not
So
talking
in
about
that.
the
The lily blue.
Oh no, not her. Not her.
but she would be an influencer.
What
You know-
about? No, I'm talking about the one who did the breakdancing at the Olympics.
Oh,
Ray
Raygun.
gun?
Raygun.
Raygun.
That was a great Halloween costume.
Fraud.
There were multiple people who were dressed up as Raygun. It was great.
So the weather in Sydney in September is average high of 69, low of 53.
Nice.
Perfect. Springtime. Spring football.
Trees. Oh, we love spring football.
Exactly. We love spring football.
It's great.
It's very important.
Basketball is over. We now will talk spring football.
Spring football.
All spring football all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Just you should do the afternoon show. The Sportsman Conduct should just do a 4-hour nothing other than spring football show. That'd be great.
That would be quite the challenge.
It's
They'd be on the backup punters by 5:30.
All right. Have a good call tonight. Stay warm.
I think it'll be okay. We've had worse.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
You have.
Yeah.
You have.
When
North Dakota State's used to it. They haven't. They've only played 3 home games,
I was looking at their
and one got canceled.
I was looking at their pictures from a couple weekends ago when they opened their home slate.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very brown in Fargo.
Yeah.
The trees are not budding yet.
No. The cherry blossoms are not in bloom. But you know what? What is crazy about North Dakota State baseball is they've been one of the better teams in the Summit League, and they only play like 15 home games.
It's crazy.
They played end of April. They played South Dakota State, and they've only played 2 of the 3 games.
Started 1-13 this year.
Thank you, Josh. It's a good note. Play a
That's
tough schedule.
They did.
They do.
They really
I mean, they
did.
spend all the time in the South. I think they played LSU.
They did.
Okay.
They didn't beat LSU.
Like
Mavs.
Omaha
Mavs.
won 2 of 3 against North Dakota State.
Yeah, like the top 3 teams in the Summit League, their RPI is like pretty good, and then the other 2 are like the worst.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You know,
Very top heavy conference.
life comes at you pretty quick in the mid-major northern-based league.
It does. It most certainly does.
All right, have a good call tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else we can look forward to on the broadcast?
I don't know. Whatever comes up. Maybe there'll be some weird kites flying and at the Lewis and Clark Landing again. Maybe we'll focus in on that. Maybe I'll see a plane coming in and I'll say, look at that plane. It's coming from Chicago because that's where they all come from.
That's a great book. All the planes from Chicago. It'd be a New York Times bestseller.
I was just reminded of a story of a former Omaha basketball player about time zones, flying from Omaha to Denver to play DU. Get the paper ticket. Kid's got the ticket, goes up to Coach Hansen and goes, Coach, this flight is only 7 minutes.
That's right.
That's a good one.
Because this is unbelievable.
That's what I say whenever I get on a plane. It's amazing. You get somewhere in another time zone and it's only 5 minutes later.
When I drive from Indiana to Chicago and it's like less than an hour, I always go, I'm time traveling.
Yeah.
I'm bending the space-time continuum, man.
That's right.
Does you are like this is you starting to spend more time around student athletes. It shouldn't surprise you that student athletes or kids that age struggle with time zones.
They have they don't care.
My
Yes.
wife cannot do it.
They
She
just
cannot do it.
they just get on the planes and they just go to the places where they're told to go.
And they look
and-
at the clock and they go, oh, I guess it's this time.
Hey, and so we keep like all of our guys are on the central time zone. Like they don't change the itinerary.
That's
But they say
well-
don't look at your phone because your
Oh.
phone's going to change.
okay. So that would be
wow.
hard.
That would make
Yeah,
it
that
harder.
is kinda hard.
Well, because guys get confused and like it's.
It's on you to convert it. We're going to tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
But they're like,
I don't know.
okay,
That's tricky.
so don't look at your phone because your phone's going to convert. We're keeping you on central time zone while you look at Teamworks.
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
Because there's a lot of no, it's like I imagine I was this way when I was like 18. Is like you get confused on time zones.
Mhm.
Like, okay, is it 11 or is it 10 if you're traveling?
I don't know. I've always been good enough to be like, hey, be here at 1. And I know that if I'm on the West Coast, that I will be there at West Coast 1.
I'm sure in the itineraries they have a note that hello, we are in the Eastern time zone. It is important to note that we'll be in the Eastern time zone during this. So when you look at your clock, that is the time in which it will be. We play at 9:50 tonight.
Can you imagine the whole Omaha team shows up 2 hours late because they couldn't convert on the West Coast time zone itinerary?
That would not be a good sign for the program.
No.
It's a long day.
But some days you play at 9:50 in the NCAA tournament.
sometimes it happens.
Quick one. One shining moment, yay or nay?
Oh,
Not just last night, but like all time.
Oh, I love One Shining Moment.
Chills. Thank you.
I am coming around on it. I'm happy that everyone else is happy when it runs.
Thank you.
Did I watch it
Josh.
last night?
That's
No.
all I need. A little pat on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
A lot of people needing pats on the back for doing nothing lately.
On
that note,
We'll get out of here.
All right. See ya.
Bye,
Gary, never predict that Nebraska's going to lose again. That's my advice to you. Wow. The one guy who loves Nebraska basketball, not the one guy, but the Nebraska basketball guy.
I thought they were going to get beat.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're getting just
Am I getting death threats?
Well, you're getting thrown into the wolves out there. Bleep
It's
you,
tough out on the
Gary.
streets.
Rough in them streets, yep.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say that I motivated them
There
to
you
win the
go.
crown.
There you go.
They said, F you, Gary.
They
Bulletin
haven't
board
lost since
material
our
from
parody
Gary
song.
Sharp.
I probably was up on the whiteboard. Fred probably punched my face a couple of times.
What was the better motivator? The $300,000 they could win, or Gary Sharp's comments?
They're going to get killed by Boise State. It's tough.
It's the most impressive victory of all time for Nebraska basketball.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I thought they were going to get killed, and they won.
Of all time.
Of all time.
I mean,
you don't think
over-
them beating number 1 Purdue at home
Yeah, wow.
less than a year ago? No?
Maybe.
That wasn't that cool about winning against Boise in the Crown semifinals. In Vegas, of all places. Imagine the focus.
It was on national TV. You're
It
totally right.
It
So
was.
many eyes.
Would have been a bigger game if it was like in Lincoln or in Boise, but no, Vegas.
Vegas is okay.
Vegas rules. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
That's
Bye.
Crossover, powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It's Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the Crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Today on the show, we'll catch up with Allan Bell, see how he's doing after a long night of college basketball. Turnover. Houston.
No shot.
Ouch. Not the way that I wanted that one to die last night, Josh.
I mean,
What did I say all year long? I said Houston is the best team. Houston is going to win the national championship, and there they are in the national championship game with a chance to win, only to poopy their little pants.
I've seen teams not get a shot up. I've seen teams turn the ball over right at the end like that. Never seen a team. Now, he couldn't touch the ball or it would have been a turnover, but just literally just stare at the basketball.
Not a fun way to end it.
That was a new one.
Yeah. And then we got one shining moment. Was it like it was like 10:30 something?
Oh, the under.
Yeah, well under.
Mhm.
Well under. I'll retime that better for next year. We'll use it all as information and we'll pass it off. Pass it off better next year. So Allan will join coming up at 11:30, and our close personal friend Frank Caliendo
He's back.
will make his return to the show. Why? Well, number one, we just want to chat. We want to see what's going on with Frank, and he's coming into town next week, Thursday, at the Funny Bone.
Oh, wow. That is next week. Wow.
Next week, Josh.
Time flies.
April 17th. And from what I hear, it's almost sold out. So maybe we could put Frank over the top.
Show him that.
The Happer Show bump is real.
Yeah.
The Happer Show bump needs to be real.
Please, for the love of God.
We'll make it something. That's a lineup. Powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys today on the show. 402-951-1620 on the 40 Nope on the hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers out there. Hi, everybody. Kenneth says, what time zone for Allan Bell? It's 11:30 for us, and I think Nashville time is still Central time.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
What time
I think
is-
it's 11:30 for him too.
What? Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay.
I didn't know what time it was.
There you go. It's 10:30 right now.
That was on me. Yep.
It's 10:30 right now. And O-Trip says, good morning, Happer. It's baseball season. People forget that. We have Creighton and North Dakota State tonight at 1180 The Zone. Baseball. The afternoon show will be doing their show from the baseball field.
Nothing better.
Nothing better. J-Man says, morning, Happer. Crab. Thank you.
We're crab walking.
J-Man, morning, Happer. Crab, and Josh Show.
Can I get some crabs in the chat?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. We have some video coming out of practice today. Dylan Raioli's throwing it.
He's there.
Matt Rule's taking a drink of coffee.
Wow. Oh, no. Oh, he's got I like that hat that he's wearing.
At least according to Kevin Suits, he's taking a drink of coffee.
I've seen it right there.
He said he faked a drink of coffee,
Uh-huh.
and then he took a drink of coffee.
I don't like this hoodie he has on. This is gross looking.
Okay, we'll grade the hoodie as we go on throughout the show today. Elsewhere, we will, of course, recap college basketball from last night, the end of the game, the whole game. And then we'll bid adieu to college basketball. I saw that John Rothstein this morning said that Nebraska in basketball could be a potential bubble team going into 2026.
Whoa.
So get your brackets out.
Utter disrespect.
Get your brackets out.
Crown champions.
And
They don't secure a bid to the tournament automatically
Now that would be
because of winning the crown.
Now that would be a heck of a incentive.
Yeah.
To win the crown. Maybe even better than winning the money.
Well,
it's like, hey, you don't have to come back here next year. You can go to the big dance if you just win this
win the
tournament.
crown. Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Like exemptions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know, if you win the Masters once, you're just in it forever, as long as you want.
I like
Interesting.
the chaos that it could provide.
Permanent bid to the NCAA tournament.
Permabid.
And then we'll look at like Florida. So I was thinking last night, as Florida wins a national championship in basketball, I get surprised every time Florida is not competing for a national championship in something. So I went back and I pulled all of like our finalists, quote unquote, for baseball, basketball, and football since 2000. Why did I do this? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And
It's better than any research anyone else is doing today.
exactly. I needed to occupy my brain with meaningless work last night after One Shining Moment ended. By the way, shout out to Tommy J. Ashworth yet again.
Tommy
Star. All up in that thing in One Shining Moment last night.
Also
Nobody else from Creighton. Well, Stephen Ashworth and then Tommy.
Stephen Ashworth.
That's exactly right.
Also, shout out EJ. He did a great job.
Yeah, EJ was fantastic. Ernie. And so I get surprised anytime Florida is not competing for national championships. And so I have some kind of half-assed research on this, and like we can look at what schools are most. So I pulled the College World Series participants, Elite Eight teams, and either BCS Bowl participants / this is a great underlining of what has happened in college football over the last 25 years. So at first it was BCS Bowl participants, and then they added, remember, it was just the 4 BCS Bowls at first. And then it was the 4 BCS Bowls and the national championship game. And then it was the college football playoff. And now, plus the New Year's 6. And then it was the college football playoff now with 12 teams. So I pulled all of those teams over, since 2000. Obviously, Nebraska pops up on the list a couple times, but for 3 College World Series appearances in baseball and nothing else. I wouldn't say that you would call Nebraska one of the best athletic departments in the country.
Oh,
over the last 25 years. That is my take.
Only team to ever win the crown, but okay.
You didn't get any points in this specific exercise for winning the crown, nor being in the crown.
Well, you set the parameters.
I did.
It's on you.
I did. Creighton had an appearance on the list. They got 1 Elite Eight in that. So they got a point, I guess. So we'll dive into that a little bit later on in the show. Nebraska basketball, Jamarcus Lawrence is back, folks.
Back.
How about that? I was wondering if there had been anybody. This happens, like, I wouldn't say often, but you've seen it from time to time where player A will transfer out of the initial school, go to a different one, and then return to said school, school A. That happens maybe more than I guess you'd expect in college basketball and college football these days. But this is the first one, to my knowledge, that has happened to any of our local schools. Nebraska, Creighton.
What do we say whenever anyone enters the portal? They can come back to the school.
That's right. You better keep recruiting them. Better keep that relationship good.
Mm-hmm.
No more burning bridges. And so in the case of Jamarcus Lawrence, he is back, folks. And that has led John Rothstein to say that Nebraska basketball is a potential bubble team. Potential bubble team. Yesterday in the courts, the House settlement is coming, but maybe there's a few alterations, and one in particular that does have quite an effect on Nebraska football. We'll check in with Dan Hurley and what he has to say about the Baldies. As he went on a podcast yesterday and talked about all of his shenanigans from this season. And we got Nebraska baseball tonight against a ranked team. Nebraska baseball against a ranked team, a different animal, Josh, a different animal. And then we have Creighton tonight at home against North Dakota State on 1180 The Zone. We appreciate you guys being with us today. Mike says, I am a baldy. Me too. I am also a baldy.
Don't run from it. Embrace it.
He wasn't talking to me, though. He was talking to some other guy.
In the schlub in Omaha.
In the stands. O-Trips writes in, 1620 bosses, how does the Happer and O-Trips show sound? Happer and O-Trips in the morning.
Sounds great. I would love for Happer to have anyone to talk to during the show.
Josh is over there doing his administrative duties.
Mhm.
He's typing away on the computer. He's like, what?
But yes, I agree. Good offensive front.
John emails into the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John.
Why are you talking about a game between Houston and Florida? This is Nebraska, and Nebraska just won the crown 2 days ago. Why won't you talk about that? The bid is over.
We're not doing this.
We took it too far. We could have we just took it a little bit too long yesterday. The Nebraska basketball fans are at they have been whipped up into a frenzy over the last couple days, and I am not going to continue stoking the flame. We're going to try and put a blanket over this
We
thing.
gaslit you for too long.
It's over now. Meanwhile, Old Man Doug writes in.
Hi, Old Man
He has
Doug.
an opinion. We'll take this early opinion from Old Man Doug.
Okay.
Winning one regular season game in the crown does not make your team's season better than a team who made the NCAA tournament and actually won a game. That is an opinion. That is an opinion. Some people might disagree with that opinion, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Many would, I'm sure.
Venmo Chris writes in.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
Connor, wow, let's give a shout out to Florida and especially Todd Golden.
I will not be shouting out Todd Golden.
It really shows that if you're good enough at your job, people can look past you being a bleeping creep. Chomp, chomp.
Venmo Chris, Josh Odson, handshake meme.
Nick writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Nick.
Will you guys get to that Nebraska crown win right after the Caitlin Clark story? There's a video going out around of Caitlin Clark cooking people at practice back at Iowa.
Oh.
Yeah, she was cooking, Josh.
That's what the kids say.
Yep.
Like dominating.
Not surprising. Not surprising when Caitlin Clark does stuff. Yeah, we'll get to the Caitlin Clark thing and the crown thing as we go on throughout the show today.
We actually will get
obviously.
to a Caitlin Clark thing and what to watch tonight.
What interesting. Is the WNBA back?
No.
Oh.
You knew that, Connor.
Well, no, I didn't.
Follow the schedule
I
religiously.
don't know when the WNBA starts. I don't know when it ends. I have no idea.
Okay.
Does it start soon?
Yes.
How soon? When's WNBA opening night? When's the Halloween of the WNBA?
A month?
Okay.
Friday, May 16th.
All right, Friday, May 16th.
With a triple header.
We're looking forward to it. We're off and running here on a Tuesday. Thank you for being with us. Come back and talk about the festivities in the NCAA tournament, which is just a tournament. It's one of the postseason one of the postseason tournaments. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
Hey, neighbor. Oh, my gosh. Is your energy bill sky high again, too?
Not anymore. My old windows were so leaky, it was as if I had a window open while my AC was running. So I replaced them with Champion windows.
Champion windows. Do you like them?
Like them. I love them. And they're guaranteed for a lifetime. They made the whole process easy. I just went online and booked my free estimate all by myself. And I got a great deal where I could buy 2 replacement windows and get 2 free.
A lifetime guarantee and buy 2 windows and get 2 free? Does that mean if I need 8 windows, I can buy 4 and get 4 free?
Sure does.
What if I buy 6? Do I get 6 free?
Yep.
Or if I get 10 windows, do I get 10 free?
Just call Champion Windows already.
If your windows are drafty, ugly, or broken, now is the best time to replace your home's windows with new Champion Windows. Book your free estimate online at championsavenow.com or call 877-GO-CHAMPION right now. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
We have a report out of the Masters this morning regarding grass.
Grass? Oh, no.
There's
Somebody suspended for the weekend?
You want your grass to be tee length, 5/16 of an inch. Fairway length, 3/8 of an inch. Second cut. So on the, I guess they would call that the second cut, right? Not the rough.
Sure, yeah.
But just off the fairway. 1 inch and 3/8.
Ooh, controversial figure.
The collars, 1/4 of an inch.
Standard.
The surrounding the green, 5/16 of an inch.
Love that.
And then the greens themselves are 1/8 of an inch. Cut nice and tight, Josh. I always wanted to have a fairway backyard.
Oh, yeah?
God, that'd be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Like a long and narrow backyard?
But you have to have such special mowers
Oh,
and
okay.
things like that for the upkeep of this stuff. And obviously it's a different kind of grass altogether. But the Masters is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing, Josh. And now we have the grass lengths. Grass update.
Grass. They
from the
announced
Masters.
that they're going to build a STEM lab at Augusta.
Okay.
To like learn about like the science of golf.
All right.
And
That's
I
awesome.
know the architect for that now. That's why I was brought there.
Okay. Very cool. Last night in college basketball, it all ended. The confetti dropped, and it was, well, I guess it wasn't really Florida. Was it Florida colors in the cannons last night?
Oh, I guess I didn't.
I knew when I was watching the postgame celebration, the only thing that I noticed is that it was getting in everybody's mouths while they were trying to talk, which is sort of annoying. But 65-63, Florida wins the national championship over Houston last night.
Yes.
Was it blue and orange?
I believe it was.
All right, that's cool. Excellent.
I got bad eyes, though.
Little detail there. Houston just could not finish. Had a couple of opportunities to take the lead and grab control of the game late. And on their final possession, ran a kind of a long developing, like kind of delayed stagger screens and there's a lot of moving parts. There was a lot of moving parts to what Houston tried to do on their last possession. And it was pretty much iced at every turn by Florida as they just pushed out on everybody and Emmanuel Sharp ended up having a look from 3 with about 4 or 5 seconds left, and from about 3 or 4 feet beyond the 3-point line, it was contested by one Walter Clayton Jr.
Oh, that guy.
And forced into what would have been a game-ending travel, which would have been a lot funnier.
It would have.
Either way, ball ended up on the ground in a scramble, and that was it for the national championship game last night. It was a great game. We had 3 great Final Four games this year, but we have the expectation with that we're going to get this beautiful, fun ending. I mean, it was a kind of a ridiculous game. Comical lack of execution down the stretch, really, by both sides.
Extra sloppy.
Of course, it ends in a horrendous final possession where Houston doesn't get a shot off. So there were no real foul. There were 4 fouls total in the first half. They were just like, all right, this is the national championship game. We're going to let them play. And then the second half, immediately all the fouls began to get called. And at the end of the game, there were no fouls again. What are we supposed to do with that? I mean, far be it from me to come on the show today and immediately start talking about officiating.
Yeah.
But it's a little inconsistent, Josh. In baseball, there's a strike zone, but we have the human element of baseball. And, the umpire, maybe he's given an inch or 2 off the outside corner. And the first couple, you're like, damn, that's off the outside corner. But it's consistent. We can adjust to that, right? Or at least it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if it changes throughout the remainder of the game, then you just start getting really confused and angered. And that was basically everybody watching this game on TV last night. All right, we've established the understanding that this game is awfully physical. Houston's in it. An SEC team's in it in Florida, although I wouldn't call them the most physical team in the world. But still, and they won the game with their defense in the final 3 possessions. And we've established the fact that this game is going to be physical, and they let them go for the first half. And then it immediately flipped, and then it kind of flipped back at the end of the game. So I don't know. I wish they were just a little bit more consistent. Because clearly at halftime, they were like, hey, we gotta have more of an impact on this game. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of felt that way.
As a player, you got to know what the crew's going to do, what you can and can't do. And if it's a moving target, how am I expected to perform?
So I was wondering this at the time anyway. And O-Trip says he should have just picked up the ball. There's like a 50-50 chance that they're actually going to call him for a travel. Like, what if the national championship game had ended on a travel? Do you think the referee is going to call a travel in that moment where he has to put the ball down on the floor with both hands after jumping? And probably, right? But there is a chance, since there's 1 second remaining in the game, that they just let everything go. We just picked up the ball and shot it because there was nobody else in the area.
Yeah,
Emmanuel Sharp was letting that thing. I mean, he was going to take that shot no matter what. He was taking some real bad shots.
Do you force the ref to make the decision, or do you play by the rule? I don't know that there was a real winnable situation there.
Emmanuel Sharp last night, 3 of 11 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. LJ Cryer wasn't much better for him. 6 out of 18 last night, 4 of 11 from 3, and ended up with a team high 19 points. And then the other most significant player in the game would have been Walter Clayton from Florida, who did not score, I believe, until about 8 minutes to go in the basketball game. And he was chucking up some garbage in the first half. That dude was just trying as hard as he possibly could, forcing a lot of stuff up just to try and get himself going a little bit. And man, he took some bad shots in the first half. Ended up making 1 3 later in the game, 3 out of 10 overall, and 11 points total. Will Richard leads Florida with 18 points in the national championship game.
First time since the infamous Villanova-Georgetown national championship game that the national championship game did not have a 20-point scorer or someone who picked up 10 rebounds.
Yeah. It was piecing it together.
They instituted a shot clock in college basketball the year after
since then
Villanova-Georgetown.
Yep. Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
We'd all ignore that he was the only guy in the area. We'd act like he was an idiot for taking the travel there. We wouldn't have seen this ending where the clock just runs out.
Yeah,
Yep.
if he touches the ball and they call travel, we'd all be yelling out like, "You can't take a travel there."
Yeah, no.
And Trips is right. You could extend the game by touching the ball and then
And then just getting the foul after that because it's a 1-point game at the time.
Yeah.
Or no, it's a 2-point game obviously because that's the way the game ended, 65-63. So yeah, we're a little spoiled, and it was trending toward an awesome ending, and we didn't necessarily get that on our final possession, and that's okay. Josh
got 3 good games this weekend.
Tournament overall,
Yeah.
what does it get for you?
Oh,
grunt the whole tournament, Josh.
The whole tournament. Let's see. I'm gonna go.
We ended up with 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. It created an excellent Final Four.
It did. No real moment of the tournament. I don't know that this Florida team is all that memorable.
I know.
I don't know what I'm going to remember about this.
The only possible result, I guess, that we could have gotten out of the Final Four that would have made it memorable. Obviously, there's been so many good games, whether it be in the Final Four or the NCAA tournament, that but there wasn't a moment, like you said. But if Duke would have won, and Cooper Flagg would have been standing up there at the end, I think that's memorable for people. Like, that was the one Cooper Flagg year. And people are still, for whatever God knows what reason, still talking about him coming back to college next year.
He's not going to do that.
Okay, but like now the angle is he could come back to college so he can force his way to like not play in Charlotte.
Charlotte's going to be in the exact same NBA draft lottery next year.
Yeah. That would be funny. If he came back to school, he's like, "Look, man, I can make $5 million at school next year. I can make $8 million in college next year. I'm not going to the NBA because I don't want to play for the Hornets or the formerly the artist formerly known as the Bobcats."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Okay." And then they get the number 1 pick again next year. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. No one wants to play for the Wizards, but like, they're going to be there.
That would be very funny.
It's a recurring problem. Do what every NBA player does. Wait 5 years and then go wherever the hell you want.
Pedro says, "Hi, guys.
Hi, Pedro.
Was there a basketball game last night? I quit watching college basketball after the Crown."
You should. You should have.
Because the Crown was very real and it was spectacular. And now look at all the recruiting momentum Nebraska has now. They got Jamarcus Lawrence back. They would have never gotten him without winning the Crown.
That's right. He would have said, "Bleep you guys, losers."
So that's the national championship game from last night. I want to talk about it in a little bit bigger picture as we go on throughout the show today with Florida, and we'll bid adieu to college basketball in general. We will miss that. College basketball this year. It did not lead me to proclaim that basketball was greater than football this year.
Okay.
Now, maybe that was a one-time take, but I kind of felt like it was going to be a yearly thing. Didn't happen this year. So we're off into the doldrums of the summer. Before you know it, there will be a list, and there will be a College World Series. There will be a Phil Steele magazine. We cannot wait. We are very excited here at 1620 The Zone. We'll be back. And we'll talk about what happened in the courts yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, a little bit of everything here on the show, Josh. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
In case you were unaware, there's a multi-billion-dollar legal settlement with the potential to reshape the business of college sports going on right now.
But what does Livy Dunn think of all this?
Well, she actually did testify at some point during this.
Good for her.
She had something in there. A lot of it is around the idea of name, image, and likeness, and what happens with that going forward, which is still a little bit up in the air. So let's get you up to date. Judge Claudia Wilkin is overseeing this potential settlement, and the lawyers from each sides are basically showing their work, giving a progress update to the judge at this point. Here's what we have. Judge, what do you think? Here's what she said yesterday in court. Quote, I think it's a good settlement, but don't quote me. Unfortunately, Judge Wilkin, we have quoted you in that regard. So there's a couple things that are still at the center of attention here in the House settlement. The judge basically asked both the lawyers on both sides to go back and work in, and in my mind, this affects Nebraska football like right out of the gate, a grandfathering deal. So we're not completely eliminating so many roster spots right away. Just to make everybody clear on this, college football, previously 85 scholarships would go up to 105 scholarships, but many rosters across college football have been filled with walk-ons over the years, including Nebraska. I think Nebraska is, routinely had one of the biggest rosters in the country throughout its history because of its history, right? Tom Osborne liked to have 130, 140, 150 guys, run multiple stations at practice, and that's how they developed over the years. And maybe there's a walk-on that comes out of there that could eventually help you somewhere down the line. I do think that affects Nebraska. So as a program that is, and we've talked about it all off season, they've had 140-ish whatever guys on their roster. They would have to, according to the guidance that they have received from what they thought that this settlement was going to look like, they were going to have to immediately go from that many people on their roster to 105. That's a significant cut. And so that was taken to the judge yesterday, to which she said, yeah, maybe it's best that we're not like eliminating all of these roster spots just in the snap of a finger. Maybe it's best that these teams have a little bit of leeway to go into the first college football season or the second college football season or the third, to where if you are on the roster right now, you can not necessarily count basically on the 105, which is interesting and does, I think, present another line of troubles, in my opinion. But that's a big change. And usually what will happen here is the lawyers will go back and they'll rework it, and they want to make it look good for the judge because ultimately they want to get this thing passed. They want the settlement to happen. And frankly, all the universities around the country have been sitting here waiting on this for months and months and months, if not years at this point. And so they need some guidance. They need direction at this point as well. And so what might have to happen here is some sort of a grandfathering rule that they could work out in the next, 7, they're going to check back, I guess, next week, to where you are not in the snap of a finger immediately beholden to being down to 105 players. What have we been talking about all offseason with Nebraska football, Josh? They need to get down to 105 players. There's a huge roster crunch incoming. Yeah, and they're going to have to lose a lot of guys after spring ball. That's going to have a lot of that's going to lead to a lot of tough conversations with a lot of college football coaches across the country who just have to say, you can't be here anymore. We don't have space for you anymore. Now, on one side, on the coach's side, that is admittedly difficult. Those aren't conversations that Matt Rule wants to have, but he was going to have. Now he might not have to have them anymore. I mean, I'd say that's a pretty significant change from what we were thinking the direction of this was going to be 2 days ago, or 5 days ago or whatever. So that is a change. Frankly, I think this opens up a whole nother list of issues that where schools are going to be kind of manipulating the number of what they could have in the grandfathering rule. I was looking forward to, and I understand, like, I'm looking at this as an outsider, right? I'm not involved on it on a daily basis. And so I view the players in some way, shape, or form as numbers.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
These are people.
But I mean, think about what we're dealing with, Josh.
These are real boys.
We're dealing with the 105th to the 140th guys on the roster. These guys probably aren't going to be difference makers, but a long history of Nebraska football.
Tell that to Rudy.
The long history of Nebraska football has been that they have a bunch of guys on their roster who are probably like Nebraskans, and they just want to wear want to wear the N, and they want to run out there on game day, and they want to say that they were a Nebraska football player for 4 years. And then when it gets some, they could get some help. Obviously they're walk-ons, but they can get some help, and they can have the student athlete experience and have that entire thing. And the direction that we were going is that all those kind of roster spots, basically as it pertains to Nebraska, would just not be available anymore. And so there would be some tough conversations. How I view it is I was looking forward to, in college football, everybody sort of being on the same plane in terms of what you can expect and how many people you can have on your roster. And I mean, I think we talked about it with Munson. I think it's a big part of this on Friday. Like it has provided a lot of transparency in recruiting.
I thought that was actually interesting. You two guys on Friday talking about that. Like, it just
thank you, Josh.
Eliminates the BS of
it. Absolutely does, because the coaches know if they're going to have space for you or not. Point blank. Period. You have to reach a certain level. So take a guy like Isaac Jensen at Millard South. Just an example. This is he's not the first, and he's not going to be the last. But he's
real lunch pail kid.
No, but he's a relatively highly recruited guy. Mm-hmm. Nebraska. He was going to visit Nebraska over the summer. He's not going to visit Nebraska anymore. I wonder if Nebraska said to him, like, "Hey, man, like, we'd love to have you, but here's where we have you in our pecking order at this point. We don't have space for you." That's Nebraska operating on the 105 limit. Well, with yesterday, can they now go back and be like, actually, we kind of do, we might have a little bit more room for you now.
I bet you we got at least 1 year of.
Right. Like, so that's kind of fascinating. And like I said, I think it throws in this whole staticky kind of gray area of what these rosters are going to look like over the summer. It kind of makes it a little bit more confusing directly as it applies to a place like Nebraska in their football team. So that's one to watch. And then there's the whole thing of the name, image, and likeness. What are we going to do with name, image, and likeness going forward? How it was laid out in the initial stages of this is, if you have a deal, you could still earn name, image, and likeness. Obviously, there's the revenue sharing part, $20.5 million or whatever the number is. I think, it's basically settled around that area. Roughly $20.5 million per school that they could distribute amongst their athletes, either however they see fit. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any guidance from the lawyers at this point. Doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole lot of guidance from the individual conferences. You could split the money however you want to split the money in your athletic department amongst your athletes. So that's one pot. It's set aside. Then there is the name, image, and likeness pot, which, Josh, you know how we've been using name, image, and likeness over the last 5 or so years here.
Pay for play.
It's been pay for play. It's been pay for play. You show up here, look at what we do in the basketball portal every single day. What's the price tag on this guy? $2 million? That's you're gonna have to. He's got an offer that sits on the table that's $2 million. And so you're going to have to beat that if he wants to come play for your school. That's how name, image, and likeness has worked. I don't know if you knew this, Josh. That is not how it was supposed to work at first.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be able to like meet the volleyball team at Arunza and, get a poster signed or something.
Well,
not one time.
There's been a little bit more of that over the last couple of years, but in large part, NIL has become pay for play and not necessarily dedicated to your name, image, and likeness. And so what was thrown into this is that if you, going forward, given that there's going to be $20.5 million to distribute to the athletes during, for pay for play, literally for pay for play, under the rules, if you wanted to get a name, image, and likeness deal, if it passes over $600 in value, it has to go through some clearinghouse to prove that it is for your name, image, and likeness. Now, Josh,
Connor,
as I've been a little skeptical of this over the last couple weeks and months.
Why? Why ever would you say that?
Because we have every time the NCAA gets sued, which is a lot over the last couple of years, I think about Diego Pavia, among many others. The basis of that suit is, well, you can't do this because you are limiting my income potential.
So many people have just walked into a courtroom, said that sentence, and won.
You are limiting my income potential. And the judges are like, God, you know what? You're right. Maybe eligibility is a construct. Mm-hmm. Maybe because this guy played in junior college for a couple of years and he couldn't get the stuff. And so, that's 2 years where he would have been making, here's the value on this guy. He would have been making $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, whatever it would have been. And so, yeah, we can't limit the earnings potential of this player. And so that genie is already out of the bottle. That toothpaste is already out of the tube. Can we shove it back in? Usually, historically, we have been provided with the answer before, Josh. It is no. Have you ever tried to shove toothpaste back in the tube before?
I actually have.
Did you successfully do it?
Did not.
It's hard, Josh.
Very.
It's very, very difficult. So that is another thing that is probably going, in my opinion, is probably going to be decided later. When they roll this out, it's probably going to be next week at this point, and all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. The clearinghouse thing is going to be a part of this. The $600 clearinghouse thing is going to be a part of this. And then what's going to happen? They're going to get sued 100 billion times.
Yep.
And then they're just going to be like, well, I suppose we can't limit earnings potential for prospective student athletes or athletes in general. So we're going to have to let that one go.
Go about your business while you appeal, and then you appeal that appeal, and then you appeal that appeal.
So that's where we stand on House Settlement 2K25.
Now that's the next great video game.
House Settlement 2K25.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Ghost
Energy Drinks.
Ghost Energy Drinks.
That's right. Your Honor, I just want to work on my family farm and grow corn and soybeans.
That came from The Crown, Josh, which we watched.
It did.
Judge Claudia Wilkin declined to provide final approval of the deal between the NCAA and the plaintiff attorneys representing past, present, and future Division I athletes, but she directed lawyers who addressed a short list of her remaining concerns, such as all of the things that I just described to you. I think the big picture takeaway from what happened yesterday in the courts is the whole roster limits thing. Once again, these are conversations that were going to be had and that were going to be a little bit difficult. And now, honestly, I mean, once again, I think they'll go back and they'll try and make it look good because they want to get this thing through and they want to get guidance out to their schools and things like that. And they want people to be able to adjust to this thing which is going to go in effect very, very soon. And they'll say, okay, yeah, we'll do the grandfather rule. So I think there's going to be some roster flexibility here for Nebraska. Like if we were looking at the next couple weeks and whenever Nebraska gets done with spring ball as this like mass exodus that has to happen of guys that have to go into the transfer portal or have to stop playing college football altogether, which I was personally, there was going to have to be a lot of movement. It might not be that way anymore. That's the big change from yesterday.
And oddly enough, I think Livy Dunn was actually the perfect example to testify on behalf of the athletes because she is in a more of a
she has some earnings potential, Josh.
She does, and she's in more of a niche sport where they were the gymnastics team. We're not getting any of that $20 million or whatever that they're splitting up over there at LSU. Like we're not going to see any of that, and you're going to tell me that one of the most 5 famous college athletes right now, can't earn any more money than that? I earn a lot of money.
I earn a lot of money right now.
Do you own a subscription to MLB TV? Have you seen my Viore clothing line commercial? It plays during every break.
I'm on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Oh, that was last year. Now it's another college athlete.
Haley Van Lith.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're cooking over there with that thing. It's kind of odd, isn't it?
It's kind of weird. I get it, I think, but also I can make it sound weird.
No. Johnny Mills in.
Hi, John.
I like the idea of the grandfather rule to cut down the roster over time and not all at once, except that it would probably mean that Turner Corcoran would get to stay on the team. I think he was going to probably stay on the team no matter what.
He's one of the 105 best we have to offer.
Yes, Josh. Yes, I'm afraid so.
Have you seen him play?
Yes, I have. Nebraska basketball got some news out of the portal this morning when Jamarcus Lawrence. Now, who is Jamarcus Lawrence? Let's look up this guy. Jamarcus Lawrence.
J-Dog.
Oh, that's a potential new nickname?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've heard this name before. Jamarcus Lawrence.
Common name.
He played last year at Rhode Island, where he averaged 9.9 points per game.
Is he one of the Lawrence brothers?
And shot 39% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. It's not bad. Made basically 2 threes a game. Oh, and look at this. He played his first 2 years at Nebraska. He's going to play his next year at Nebraska. So on his stat reference page, it'll say Nebraska, Rhode Island, Nebraska.
A Nebraska sandwich.
Yeah, with just a little bit of Rhode Island gabagool in there.
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
They got the best gabagool in Rhode Island.
In response to that, John Rothstein, the basketball pilled man on Twitter.
He's brushing his teeth. He's getting ready to sleep.
He said early prediction on Nebraska's 2026 starting 5. Jamarcus Lawrence, Connor Essegian, Price Sanford, Berke Buchtengel, and Rink Mast. Fred Hoiberg could have a potential bubble team lurking for 2026. And he adds that this is only April, Josh.
A lot of qualifiers there.
I don't like that. I don't like that he's like, hey, you know what? This could be a potential bubble team.
Maybe
this could be a potential bubble team for 2026. Like right now, this time of year, you probably want to hear like this team could be in the mix for the Big Ten first half or something. What like a top 10 finish in the Big Ten? That's what you want to hear.
If everything breaks right, this one player might get one of those all-team honors.
That's exactly right. But a nice pickup, I guess. Meet the new guy, same as the old guy for Nebraska basketball. I don't know if that works. Do you think Jamarcus called him up and was like, Fred, I want to come back?
Fred, I hate it here.
I'd like to come back. I'd like to come back and play for you.
They keep talking about Lamar Odom all the damn time. I'm sick of it. I want to hear about Eric Piatkowski.
Yeah. Jamarcus Lawrence, Connor Essegian, Price Sanford, Berke Buick-Gel, and Rink Mass. Does that sound like a potential bubble team to you, Josh? Or does it sound like a current? Well, because if you're a potential bubble team, that also means you're a potential crown team.
Right.
And people had such a good experience at the crown this year. Maybe they want to go back.
Just
to the
keep
crown
going back.
at this point.
Why would you not?
Yeah. Yeah.
We were explicitly told yesterday that the crown mattered and nothing else did.
This is the best. Nicholas writes in on
Hello,
YouTube.
Nicholas.
Josh, have the Braves won a game yet? I know you said that stats don't matter until May, but are we nervous at all?
Yes, the Braves won on Friday, 10-0.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't played a game since Saturday.
Huh. Wow. What happened?
It rained on Sunday and they had an off day yesterday.
Dang. So
one whole win.
From the 402. So the grass must not be green in Rhode Island. I guess not. Same number earlier wrote in, has anyone done a welfare check on Random Mike since Gavin Griffiths was in the portal? No, I haven't heard from Random Mike, but I did see there was a Arkansas baseball Cam Kojal like hype video that went out there, which was cool. Probably the doing of Random Mike, but I think he would probably take the trade. I think he was a big Jamarcus Lawrence guy, so he would enjoy the fact that they got Jamarcus Lawrence back, but probably lamenting the fact that they lost Gavin Griffiths in the transfer portal. Josh, what were you yelling about with that person on the phone?
Had a caller who sincerely asked me the following question. Connor, I'd like your take on the issue.
All right.
Would you rather be in the NCAA tournament and lose or win the crown?
I would rather be in the NCAA tournament and lose, Josh.
But if you don't think you can win it all and you're not going to beat Duke, what would you rather do?
Was that the follow-up question?
No, that was the serious call that I just took.
Why does this happen, Josh? This can't be happening anywhere else.
Soft.
This can't be happening anywhere. We have to be the only radio station in America who's dealing with this.
You think in Orlando right now they're saying, well, UCF lost the crown. Florida won the national title.
I would rather go to the NCAA tournament, Josh. I'd rather go to the NCAA tournament and lose. And
but
I'd rather lose by. I would like to lose by 150 in the NCAA tournament.
$300,000.
That's nice. If you're in it, you might as well win it.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're in the crown, you might as well win the crown. But remember, if you win an NCAA tournament game, which you have the chance if you're in the NCAA tournament, then you get the units. Josh,
what is a unit?
The unit.
Connor?
The unit is worth $1 million.
Hold on. 1 million minus 300,000. Well, that's more.
Mitchell writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Mitchell.
Looking forward to Nebraska basketball fans next March debating if they should turn down a tournament bid so they can defend their crown title. I think we're getting trolled, right? I don't know.
They're very good actors if they are trolling.
I can't believe that anybody else would have to deal with this.
I think we've all worked ourselves into a shoot here.
It's
so muddied in the middle.
We're still talking about the crowd. The NCAA tournament is the goal at the beginning of every year for everybody. Not winning the national championship, unless you're one of the 5 teams who feel like they can win a national championship. Yes, of course, your goal is to win the national championship when you get to the NCAA tournament. But yeah, you can't do that, and you can't go on a magical run, and you can't win a game in the NCAA tournament, which I hear from everybody. He says that's the ultimate goal, right? Win a game. If you win a game in the NCAA tournament, then this is all worth it. Or you get to a Sweet 16 or something like that, then this is all worth it. Yeah. You can't do that unless you make the NCAA tournament. That would be my official. My official statement on the issue. All right. Now I wonder what Josh is hearing from the phone line. Josh, any follow-ups from the people?
Well, that caller suggested we put it in terms that football fans can understand. Would you rather be in the college football playoff and get your brains beat in by insert number one team here, whoever you want it to be?
Yeah.
Or win the Pinstripe Bowl?
I think I would rather go to the college football playoff. Now, maybe here's where people are struggling with this. I am not saying that the crown is not valuable.
Right. We've never said that.
I am not saying that the crown is not valuable. I am not saying the Pinstripe Bowl is not valuable. I am not saying that going to a bowl game of any kind that's not the college football playoff is not valuable. It can be valuable. And it, in a lot of cases, if you win it, is valuable. But it is less valuable than being in the college football playoff. Much less. And it is less valuable. I'm not talking about from a money perspective. I'm talking about for your program. Because if you make the NCAA tournament, Josh, that means you were good. Or at the very least means you were mid. And if you fall below the threshold of mid, then I don't know what that is, Josh. You tell me. You tell me. It's not good.
It's not good.
This is not a good conversation.
I don't like it.
Not a good conversation. By the way, we have viewership numbers in for the Crown.
Hell yeah.
Are you ready for this?
I'll bet it was more than last night.
In the Crown Championship game, which featured Nebraska and Central Florida.
And Connor and my eyeballs.
Maybe we should save this for later.
Ooh.
But I'll tell you the number right now.
Here again, Connor trying to erase the crown into the back half of the show.
822,000 viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Not 822 million. 822,000 viewers.
822 million viewers would be very good.
And viewership was up 62% against the 2025 NIT. The semifinal on Saturday averaged 706,000 viewers.
Very good.
Not really.
I'm trying to build a bridge here, damn it.
Okay. All right. All right, so there you go. Now you know exactly how valuable how the crown was. Allan Bell is going to join the show next. Text from the 402. Would you rather be the big fish in the small pond or the small fish in the big pond? The big pond is way cooler.
I like big ponds, and I cannot lie.
Everybody agrees to this. This is a thing that we just agree to at the beginning of every year. The big pond is a lot cooler than the smaller ponds, which don't make the smaller ponds nothing. The smaller ponds aren't the worst things in the world.
No.
The worst thing in the world is losing all of your game.
It's not the purple CBI pond over there.
No, yeah, it's better than that. It's a little bigger than that pond. But everyone agrees. Everyone universally agrees.
I don't know what
everyone universally agrees before the season that the big pond is ultimately the goal of the pond that you want to be in.
But if you can't be in that pond,
you might as well be in one of the smaller ponds.
Because of politics and, your
How is it possible?
Your own shortcomings.
We're still doing this. All right. Allan Bell is next on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
And we are joined right now on the hotline by our good friend Allan Bell, coming off the national championship game last night. AB, hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, my friend. Doing great, man. How you doing?
Good. How did you enjoy yet another champion being crowned last night?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. Apparently, Florida is best when they're down and getting whooped. All right, that's the best place that Florida basketball could be. A great game, though. What a weird ending. I mean, that was strange, man. But give Florida credit, dude. They went through a gauntlet to get there too.
Did you take? I know that you and I had talked about it all year because I was all over Houston basically the entire season, and then of course they get to the national championship game and they just turn it over on their final 3 possessions, and I was feeling pretty good about myself before that. Did you invest in any opportunities going into last night?
Yeah, I did, man. Okay, so first off, I took the under of 141.5, right? And I'm not going to sit here like afterward and say, "Oh, I hit 38 bets." Like, no, it wasn't like that at all. But
yeah,
the under played out nice.
Yeah, pretty not very sweaty. Yeah.
No, it really wasn't. Yeah, I'll tell you this: I was sweating overtime there at the end. I was sweating that a little bit, but other than that, man, the most interesting is BetMGM had some like exotic props. I had Houston over 2.5 dunks at plus 130. Okay. And I don't know if you were Houston had 2 dunks in the first half, so I just needed one more, and they had one more. If you remember, it was an offensive rebound. And it was kind of a tip in, but the Houston guy, you know how they like do that thing where they jump up and like they just volleyball swat it?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
He did that at the rim and like caught just enough of the rim to count as a dunk, and no more dunks in the game. So that one was good. I also
so it hit. Oh, you got it. Yeah. I thought this was going to be a bad beat story.
No. That came out nice. Now the bad beat, it's not really a bad beat, but on the other side of it, I had Houston to hit the first 3, okay? And, dude, Houston shot 1,000 threes, as did Florida. We didn't have the first 3 hit until 10 minutes into the game, and Florida got it. So I missed that one, but those props were fun. I hadn't seen those before, man. They were fun.
Excellent. And we're also, so as we move on to baseball season now, we're keeping track of everything, including Cody Bellinger being out after eating bad wings apparently. Now this is part of the joy of baseball season. You have to follow this very closely and every single day, otherwise you may miss something, including a player not being in the starting lineup today because he has food poisoning, because according to him he ate bad chicken wings.
Yeah, and I saw in the reply somebody said, somebody went to Taco Bell and got those wings, not Florida. That's a tough one, man. We've seen we've seen that one. We've seen Nintendo finger. I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah, we saw one guy.
We got guys falling down just randomly, whether it's in the shower or just going down the stairs or something like that. It's great.
Marty Cordova, back in the day, fell asleep in the tanning booth, and he couldn't go, even though, you play in the sun, for 162 games. But yeah, always a treat.
What are you watching for the Masters this week?
You know what, man? So I was talking with a buddy of mine yesterday about this. So it feels like the best bet of all time is that it's going to rain at some point during the Masters, right? So I was just looking at the weather, and Friday it's going to rain a little bit. But other than that, we're actually going to get some decent weather here, man. It's going to be hot. So guys who hit the ball long are going to be blasting, man. So normal, like, do your research. And I'm not the most intelligent prop bet golf betting guy, but I can tell you from a course perspective that if you can hit the ball far and decently putt, those are your guys to bet.
Well, there's just so many, I find it really difficult as well, because there's just so many options. And then you look at like you look at the board, you look at the top of the board, for just people who are just getting into this weekend. Like me, I'm very casual of watching golf. And so I look at it, I'm like, wow, I could get, plus 625 for like Rory McIlroy to win the tournament or something like that. Like that feels like incredible odds. Like I don't love Rory to actually come through and win one, but it feels like good odds. So you just spread it out at the top there, or I guess what do you think?
Yeah, it's a good call. Like, I definitely do like playing rounds, right?
Okay, good.
You kind of adjust. Yeah, and also like head-to-head matchups. Now, I'll tell you this, all right, and this literally just came through like 5 minutes ago. All right, a friend of mine is a former, PGA Tour player and a PGA Tour pro now, what they call it, the guys that kind of teach and do all that. And I was asking him, I said, dude, just give me an off-the-wall name, right? And he wrote back immediately, like 5 times, Shane Lowry. He goes, just take Shane Lowry. Like, not necessarily like to win, but, top 10, top 20, whatever. He was like, Shane Lowry. So we're going to see if our guy knows what he's talking about, or we're going to have him start sending some Venmos out. But apparently this man likes Shane Lowry. So.
Okay. All right. I love when a guy who pays attention to this stuff is just like, yeah, you gotta do this. Like I will listen to that like 100% of the time.
Yeah, and he wasted no time. Exactly, right? Like I'm like you. Like he wasted no time. He was like, dude, Shane Lowry. I was like, okay,
all right,
we're going Shane Lowry.
Today is also Paul Skeens Day, a holiday in Major League Baseball that is celebrated by some. Are you just at the point where every time this guy pitches, you're just taking overs until the numbers change?
Yeah, pretty much, and I'm also counting on for him to throw a no-hitter for the first 7 innings, and then the Pirates lose. Right? That's how it works. So it's funny. So I actually polled the audience on our show this morning, and I put 4 props up, and I was like, you guys vote, all right? So you tell me which one you like. Paul Skeens over 7.5 strikeouts at plus 115.
Okay.
Paul Skeens to record a win at plus 130. Over 1.5 walks at plus 105. Or over 1.5 earned runs at plus 145.
Well, the strikeout one seems the most controllable, I guess, because what you're dealing with there is not a great baseball team and a team that has routinely not helped them out with getting a win behind him. And so I'm trying to just isolate it as much to Paul Skeens as I possibly can, right? And I guess that would be the strikeout number.
Yeah, and that's the one that was voted. Now, I'll say this. So the play of the Cardinals, man, interesting stat. So the Cardinals have played 10 games this season, okay? They've scored 4 or more runs in all 10 of them. Like, it's incredible. Like, I mean, I didn't think that the Cardinals would come out just blasting. Now, we'll see if they do that today, but they've been scoring runs, man. So I'm with you on like, we're not betting on a win or any of that. Yeah, over 7.5 strikeouts, that won the poll by 4.
I also see you got some action on the Royals game tonight. Love to see that.
Oh yeah, man. I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a fun. Yeah, I love this Royals team. Like, they're such a classic baseball team, and a classic baseball uniform too. Like it is a great old school baseball uniform, man. Like one day we need to do like a Mount Rushmore of baseball unis.
Oh, good one.
Like the Royals are up there, dude. It's solid, man.
Yeah, very, very sharp. So I think, what did you have over the home run total for both teams, and which is like a 1.5? It's Reagan's and Pablo Lopez tonight. Reagan's has been a little bit shaky in the early going here this season, so I don't mind that.
Yeah, at all, right? And over 1.5 home runs, and it could come from either team. You know what I mean? Like, let's just get 2 bombs. I like that play a lot.
Love it. All right, AB. Well, this weekend is a pretty prime weekend to sit around and watch golf. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure you are as well.
Nap time, baby. Yeah, no, it's gonna be good, man. Gonna enjoy it.
All right, see you later.
All right, see you, bro.
Allan Bell of Driving the Line. You can check out his daily podcast, which is already up with his picks for the day right now. It's got some action on Marcell Ozuna, Josh's favorite player as well.
No opinion on Marcell Ozuna.
Okay, well he has some action on him.
Shane Lowry.
Yeah, we got Platt Cat who's listening. And he's like, yeah. Lowry, top 5, top 10. We're already locked. Thanks, Allan. Appreciate it. Like I said, some guy calls you and he's just like, listen.
I watch this all the time.
Yeah, listen, here's the deal. I'm like, say no more.
Okay.
That's why we have Allan on. Because he comes in and he just says stuff that I don't expect. I'm like, I got you. I'm with you. I'll ride with you. I don't know you.
Like a hot tip.
I don't know you, but I'll ride with you.
Right.
Coming up at noon, Frank Caliendo will join the show. Excited to talk to Frank again. He's got a show coming up next week here in Omaha. But before we do that, Josh has the odd news. That's next on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, analysis, and commentary in a clean, concise, and disease-free way.
See there?
What a relief. Thank God.
Wonderful.
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors?
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, Josh.
Connor.
Let's do it.
All right, we've brought it up a couple of times already this morning, but I really want to sit in it. I really want to laugh at Cody Bellinger's food poisoning for some reason.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay. Let's do it.
He is out of the Yankees lineup today because the team believes he has food poisoning after he was throwing up all night. The culprit seems to be a batch of bad chicken wings he ate last night, according
Remember,
to
the
manager
Yankees
Aaron Boone.
are in Detroit.
So
let's go.
Rest of the team apparently unscathed. Boone said before the day game against the Tigers should be first pitch here in, I don't know, half an hour.
Coming up.
Hopefully he's feeling a little better now, and we'll see if we can get him going, make him somehow available in the next day or so. Boone said it was the latest development in a rough week for Bellinger, who missed games on Friday and Saturday in Pittsburgh with a tight back, which could not have been helped by his overnight heaving. With Bellinger out, Trent Grisham got a 6th straight start in center field, though he was likely to be in the lineup anyway against Tigers lefty Tarek Skubal.
All right, so here's some restaurants near Comerica Park.
These are important.
You got Buddy's Pizza.
Okay.
I bet they got square slices.
Old Buddy.
That old thing. You got the Brass Rail Pizza Bar.
Okay.
Interesting. You got Hockey Town Cafe. You got Harry's Detroit Bar and Grill.
Harry, I took care of it.
You got Lefty's Cheesesteaks, Burgers, and Wings.
Okay.
Interesting. Only 3.6 stars on Google.
Oh, yeah. Which one has the lowest rating?
So far in my travels, it is Lefty's Cheesesteaks, Burgers, and Wings. There is also a Buffalo Wild Wings within earshot of Comerica Park. Just to keep you aware of that.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud. I shouldn't be.
Okay.
Somebody on the Yankees does a
podcast.
Austin Wells does a burrito review on Instagram, like his whole Instagram or something like that, or he has a secret Instagram page.
That's funny.
Which is just him reviewing
Burritos?
Yes.
Maybe he'll have some insight on where
Uh-huh.
Cody Bellinger got his chicken wings, or if that's a real story at all. You ever had food poisoning, Josh?
I haven't, luckily.
I think we probably had this conversation before. I don't think that I have either. It's possible that I have, and just I have an iron stomach, and it doesn't affect me.
I don't want to
It's
jinx
possible.
it, but I do often think that I have an iron stomach. Yes.
Yeah. It's possible that we have had. I mean, some people just maybe we'll get this information from Cody Bellinger out of all this. Like, is it possible that he's just a guy who pukes a lot?
Mm-hmm. Now I know what you're all
You
thinking.
know, everyone knows a guy who pukes a lot.
I puked at work one time.
Yeah, you didn't have food poisoning.
I did not.
That was pre-sickness, wasn't it?
It was.
It was like the front end.
It was going to happen.
It was like the warning to you of like you are sick.
I'm like I can get through the day.
Okay.
'Cause
Interesting.
I'm tough.
Interesting. All right, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see if we get any further information from Cody Bellinger, who will not be in the lineup.
He will not. We go all the way up to Alaska for story number 2, as sanitation officials in Anchorage are ready to roll out their new bear-resistant trash cans.
Oh, really?
But
Now, how is that possible?
But first,
let me take a selfie.
No, well, kind of. They had to test the bear-resistant trash cans by letting the bears maul the trash cans.
Sure.
Which there was some product testing going on earlier this week in Anchorage. Solid Waste Services brought the trash cans to the Alaska Zoo to have them thoroughly tested by the resident bears. Video from the test shows bears making numerous attempts to get into the trash bins, occasionally managing to destroy them entirely.
Yeah.
The Alaska Fish and Game Department urges residents to keep trash and other potential sources of food secured at all times to avoid human-bear conflicts that could lead to the animals being euthanized. Well, I'm not so much worried about the bear being euthanized as I am
the human being euthanized.
Yes, by the bear. Exactly, Connor. So they must have a latching trash can of some kind more than our just Like we just got the lids.
Do you have any evidence? Do you have any pictures to see what these look like? Like I'd be curious what the design would be that they would determine that the bears cannot get into. Are they too big of idiots to open up a trash can, to press a button on a trash can?
There appears to be some sort of locking cylinder atop the lid. I don't know how it works.
Okay. So you have to pull the lid off the top.
Yeah, it looks very similar to our trash cans that we have here in Omaha.
I would
just with a locking mechanism on top.
If the Bears really wanted to get into the trash can, it feels like they would have the strength and the power to be able to do that. I
would agree. This bear is gnawing at this thing.
Now, if they needed somebody to throw around a trash can, we know some people.
Oh yeah, we got trash can guys.
Did you see the Kyan Brown? He was in San Antonio because the Final Four is like the big coaches convention or whatever. He was down there. He went on.
I've heard the Robin Wash it open. Yes, I know.
He went on Jeff Goodman's thing, the Field of 68 deal, and started chucking around trash cans. Kind of feel bad for the UNO coaching staff. They every time they go anywhere, they get asked about trash cans, and they have to bring props with them.
It's their life now. Nobody wants your opinion on anything now.
You're just the trash can guy.
Hey, monkey, do the thing.
Kind of stinks. Okay.
Definitely. Budweiser in Canada is celebrating Alexander Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals mark by doing what Budweiser does, delivering beer.
Budweiser.
They have sent commemorative beer cans to the 28 goaltenders who have never given up a goal to Alexander Ovechkin.
Oh, that's cool.
Alexander Ovechkin broke the goals record over the weekend. Coming into the game, Ilya Sorokin was one of just 29 goalies who had faced an Ovechkin shot in the regular season or playoffs and never allowed a goal to him. Given the extensive list of goalies, a record 183 goalies have allowed a goal to Alexander Ovechkin. Budweiser in Canada honored the rare few with some special beer cans. They call them the Kings of Zero. I believe this is also a way to promote Budweiser. Bud Zero, yeah.
Now, is there any sort of minimum here? Like if I faced Ovi for one game in my career and I shut him out, do I get a beer?
It seems now Curtis Joseph is a goalie in the NHL. He played just 5 minutes and 57 seconds of a game against the Capitals and Ovechkin in 2009.
And he got a beer?
And he stopped 2 Ovechkin shots and he got a beer as
well.
well.
So maybe it's if you stop any of his shots.
That was the only requirement.
You have to stop all of his shots. Yeah.
And one goal.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, one goaltender.
This is good marketing.
It's great marketing. Eddie Lack, a goaltender who gave up 4 goals to Ovechkin in his career, tweeted, "This is bull bleep. If I knew there were beers involved, I would have tried harder."
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who faced him. Who faced him a million times.
Yeah, he was in my division. I faced him every other night.
Or they've been around his entire career. Nobody's really been around his entire career, but a good chunk of his career, faced him all the time and has a pretty good record against him.
Yeah.
Has only given up 4 goals over 700 shots or something like that. And those guys don't get any beer. Sorry. You got to be perfect. Can you be perfect?
Can you be perfect?
Can you be perfect? So yeah, that's pretty good marketing. That's one of the better marketing deals we've had on the show in a long time.
Good promotion.
Excellent. Good job by Budweiser. Look at us giving our kudos to Budweiser, Josh.
About time somebody does that, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. I want to remind you before we take a break here and talk to Frank Caliendo. This week's Zone Deal is to Backlot Tap House, Omaha's best place for Detroit-style pizza.
Not wings.
Exactly. Well,
their wings are great. Of course.
30 beers on tap and a great place to relax with friends for pizza and beer, and it will be delicious, and there would be no fear whatsoever.
Shouldn't be.
This Friday, you can get $50 worth of gift certificates for just $25, or listen all week to Gary and Matt for your chance to win it for $0. That is this Friday's Zone deal, half off to Backlot Tap House Detroit style pizza. Friday at 9, 1620thezone.com. The college basketball season is over, which means it's almost time for Todd. That and much more. Frank Caliendo, who is now a recurring player on the show, also our Creighton correspondent, one of our Creighton correspondents. He'll be at the Funny Bone next Thursday, April 17th, and it's almost sold out. Omaha.funnybone.com. And Frank joins us now on the hotline. Good afternoon, Frank. How are you?
I mean, great. I still feel bad about not getting your text during the Creighton game, during Creighton UConn, and going to talk on the Jumbotron. I felt bad about it.
That's okay.
Absolutely, 100% would have done it. It did feel like I was ducking you, but I really didn't see it. And next time I'm there, I'm going to be doing that.
Well, I'll text you earlier next time, and then maybe you'll see it. I don't know.
You were probably scared because I'm such a big deal in my own head.
Exactly. Maybe you were the person. Now you're not bald, but maybe you were the person that Dan Hurley was looking at and saying 2 rings baldy after that game.
Was that one? That was that game?
I mean, you were at the UConn game, right?
Well, UConn at home though, and they won that game.
Yeah, it was
UConn won.
Yes, and then he walked off the court And, somebody was giving him crap from over near their bench, and he said 2 rings baldy.
I mean, I'll take credit for it. I didn't do it, but
yeah, there's something
I'm pretty good friends with Bobby Hurley, so we could try and get him to believe it was me.
You've never met Dan?
No, I haven't. And I told Bobby, I go, anytime Bobby's in the news, I'm like, how does it feel to be the quote unquote normal Hurley? How about that, Bobby?
Did you say, hey, is your brother actually that crazy? Is he insane or what?
I think there's a lot of passion and like somebody who's in sales for a living, you just become like that all the time. You ever go to a dinner with somebody who's in car sales and they're making deals to pass the gravy? You ever have that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me talk to my boss. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, figure out what's going on here. Go ahead, whatever. So yes,
I wanted to say, but that game, you watched the whole game last night?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the ending. I'm sure you probably I'm guessing you probably talked about this, but it felt like a series finale with like a cliffhanger that doesn't pay off.
I know.
Like one of those, like a Marvel end credit scene where you're left hanging. You watch the next movie and then nothing has it. It was such a great game. And then the ending, such a dud that I was like, I felt unfulfilled. I was like, man, what? This is how the people who don't like Severance feel. That's what this
and then it's just over. There's no getting it back. There is a next season, but it'll be completely different. It's like True Detective in that way.
I didn't even stay up for No Shining Moment this year.
Come on, you didn't?
No, because I didn't feel like there really was a lot. I mean, there wasn't anything.
Yeah.
I just feel like it had to be more of a filler one this year. I still haven't seen it. I've been doing stuff, but I don't. It was good. The Final Four is great. I mean, really good. The games. I mean, but it is amazing how a couple of, I guess it was a physical error by Cooper Flagg. He didn't make that shot, but I mean, it was mental errors all the way around for Duke to fall apart against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a mental error from Houston last night. So, I was in Houston over the weekend. So imagine how those shows went.
Oh,
with a guy who's known for doing a lot of sports stuff.
Yeah.
I was thanking people individually for showing up.
It's like, thanks for coming. How about that basketball team? And they're like, yeah.
I did. I was saying, thank you for not going to the Final Four. It's only 3 hours away. 2 people get up and left. I didn't know it was that close.
Like, okay. Yeah. That means you probably don't actually care about basketball. So thank you for being here. It's appreciated.
Right. How about, and I don't think Barkley did, because I did really turn it off after they just scrambled for the ball on the court. I just went, if they cut back to Barkley, all he had to say is, that's just terrible. That's a terrible, terrible end.
He at the end of the game after was like, he shouted out, like, he was like, shout out to all the Final Four teams, but especially Auburn. He's like, Janai Broome, he's the best player. And it was like, Chuck, he wasn't even in that game. Like, you could put the homer away for 10 seconds, right?
Oh man, Janai Broome and his elbow, if that was 100%, that would have been a lot better. We're gonna get you a bionic elbow, and we're gonna get all these guys 5 or 6 more years of eligibility.
Exactly. So now what happens is, Frank, as we move on from Charles Barkley, well, I guess we'll eventually end up back at Charles Barkley impressions in June, but now the NFL draft is it takes focus, or I guess the Masters takes focus this weekend before the NFL draft. So your Chucks are going to end up being Mel Kipers and John Gruden's and stuff like that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, a lot of Gruden, man. Unboxing things. You ever unbox a box inside of a box inside of a box? I can do that sort of thing.
He is back, man. He's everywhere.
Back and more Gruden than ever. I mean, he is totally Grudening it up. It's fun to watch because I talked to him along the way, but I was actually supposed to go do quarterback class with him last week in Tampa, but he wanted me to go do it. And then I talked to a producer. I'm like, how much time? Because if I'm going to fly all the way out here, are you really going to add me into much stuff, or is it going to be just a quick thing? He's like, it's really probably a quick thing. I'm like, let's do something different another time. Yeah. John just wants me to fly out there and be his puppet show for 30 seconds. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Not all the way from Phoenix. It's 4 hours there, 4 hours back. It's not worth it. So,
Yeah. You do a video where
and they
where you mess up opening boxes. Like he really struggles with opening those boxes.
I think he should be like a little kid where he doesn't care about what's in the box. I'm going to build a fort with this box, man. You ever build an igloo? You ever do that? A snow fort, man? You guys are in Omaha. You know all about snow forts. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to do that out of cardboard. I'm going to make a cardboard snow fort. That's going to be soggy, man. I'll tell you what, it's a good idea.
He takes everything, all the shoes and stuff from the box, and he decorates his cardboard box fort with the shoes and things like that. Sounds like an excellent idea.
Yeah, it's Super Gruden doing his thing. I'm glad to see him back. And then the Mel Kiper Jr. talking about tremendous situation. Who you guys even root for? You guys got to be Kansas City fans out there for the most part, right? Is that what the deal is?
A lot of Kansas City Chiefs and a lot of NFC North. There's a lot of that.
Okay, yeah, because I actually go to Kansas City the day I'm at Omaha at the Funny Bone next Thursday. What did you say?
17th, yeah.
The 16th, I'm actually at the Kansas City Funny Bone. So Kansas City Funny Bone on Wednesday the 16th. And then Thursday, the 17th, at the Omaha Funny Bone. FrankOnStage.com gets you to all the shows.
Excellent. FrankOnStage.com. So people around here also just got done. We've had a lot of discourse around here. You're a Creighton basketball honk, I think, at this point. But Nebraska basketball just got done playing in something called the Crown. Have you heard of the Crown, the college basketball Crown?
I do know they won the Crown, yeah. They played Central Florida, right?
That's right.
UCF.
Yeah.
I might be the only other person who knows about the Crown.
So the great part of that was Gus Johnson. They got Gus Johnson out there, and he did the games, and he clearly just really, really enjoyed being in Las Vegas and, was excited. He kept on reiterating over and over again how much money that the players were going to win if, whatever, they won $300,000.
$300,000, I think it was.
$300,000, and so Gus
That's
was
what I make in 5 minutes.
Gus was absolutely losing it over the weekend watching the college basketball Crown. I didn't know if you had a Gus or not.
No, I think I know what to do, but I've never done it. But I do think here's the cool thing. I do think it's cool winning the basketball Crown. I think that's pretty cool. And I did watch the last few minutes of that game and saw a little bit in before. But everybody who didn't win the basketball Crown, I think that's unfortunate. But I do think it's pretty cool to have won the basketball Crown. I find that interesting. So good for Nebraska basketball. That's quite cool. But anybody who didn't win, including my friends at ASU Arizona State, they got knocked out in the first. That was against Nebraska.
They got beat by Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Bobby was down to half a player. I think he had 4.5 guys that had it was like it was Hoosiers, and they had to send in Ollie. That was the type of thing. Bobby Hurley Jr. was like Ollie shooting free throws underhand.
If you're in it, you might as well win it, right?
Yeah. Coach Norman Dale, Barbara Hershey. I don't remember her character's name, but I got that. And Jimmy Chitwood. That's all ingrained in my memory, man. But good, congratulations to them. I do think winning that's pretty cool. But again, if everybody else who lost during it, sorry.
Okay, so let me have you weigh in on this then. Would you rather win the entire college basketball crown or get beat in your first NCAA? Go to the NCAA tournament, get beat in your first game, and then have your season be over? Because this.
How bad do I get beaten? How bad do I get beaten in the NCAA tournament?
You lose by.
5? Do I play competitively?
Yeah. Let's say it's close for a while. You lose.
I'd much more rather go to the NCAA tournament.
Let's say you get 100%. Your face beat in.
Or win the basketball crown. At this point, I think that's kind of close. Probably win the basketball crown.
Wow.
Because nobody's watching after a little bit of the game if you're getting pummeled. I think the fun of the NCAA tournament is at the beginning, everybody's watching everybody. And as soon as the game's, 20, 30 points, you're getting pummeled. And you just watch, you watch a different channel. So that's me. And maybe I'm just old school, but I think it probably, it's real close. I mean, if you win your first game, to be in the game, I really like being in the NCAA tournament, man. It doesn't feel like anything. I mean, I don't even know what happened in the NIT. Is that done?
Yes, yeah. So all the teams that would normally be in the NIT ended up going to the college basketball crown, and so I believe
they kept a lot of mid majors in the NIT.
Correct.
Right?
I believe Chattanooga won the NIT. Yes.
Yeah. Nobody. I mean, I don't know. I in the NCAA. I mean, that may evolve. I don't know, but as of right now. I mean, it's hard to. I think a difficult thing with that is if you got some players reportedly making $1 million to $2 million a year or somewhere, and some even more with actual, actual NIL deals where they're actually doing commercials for stuff and not just from the collective. If 300,000 to be split amongst everybody, as much money as that is, doesn't seem like a lot to when one person on the team's already making $2 million. Now, I don't think there's anybody in that tournament making $2 million. And how do they split it? I never understand that stuff either. How do they split it? Does it go to the school? Does it go to the players? And I like that preseason one that Creighton played in, and I actually went to that tournament. I don't remember.
The players era.
Yeah, players era. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. Nobody's ready. That's kind of
That's right.
Nobody's ready to play other great teams, and that's why you see when teams have really good coaching and players coming together, like Creighton does. And Boss Baby was hurt during that.
That's right, because he messed up his ankle against Nebraska.
Yes, Stephen Ashworth had hurt his ankle. So, but they're just nobody's really ready. That's when it's who wins a lot of those games, the guys with like the really great athletes.
Yes.
And maybe sometimes just the bigger team can win. But as the season goes on, the teams that gel, it's just a different thing. And that's why, you see Creighton getting into March Madness and even though they may not have even as athletic of a team as they did the year before, they're gelling together and really a great group of guys that work for each other. So
did you see how yeah, go ahead.
Now Mac those guys, they pulled in some giants, some awesome. You guys and Creighton fans, something to look forward to again, because they're reloading, man. That's amazing.
You're on top of it, by the way. Yes. Indeed. People are excited
Owen
around
Freeman,
Owen Freeman, Josh Dix. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was another wing, I think they just signed, right?
Nick Graves. They got him.
Yeah.
And then they got some big 7-footer.
Right? Was he Charlotte?
Yeah, from Charlotte. And then they got some big 7-foot freshman from somewhere overseas. Yeah.
Lithuania. Yeah.
Love that.
But usually those guys take a little bit of time.
Yeah. Did you see how during the tournament, Boss Baby's baby, I don't know what your nickname would be for Boss Baby's baby, but he became very popular, Stephen Ashworth's son. He was actually on One Shining Moment last night, so if you get the chance to see it, you'll see Boss Baby's baby. Yes.
Which is funny because I sent Ashworth a text. I go, "Boss, your kid does look like Boss Baby." That's hilarious. That's pretty much the same. So get him a briefcase because he's going. I'd forgotten. It seems like that was so long ago. I forgot how much Tommy Ashworth took over. Forgot about it. That was like a full 2 days of the news cycle. There weren't really any.
He might have got as much screen time as you did in the Vegas tournament. It was close.
I still find that funny. People told me I was on the screen the whole time during that game, and I was like, I thought I was in a corner box. Like if I'd known I was on the full screen the whole time, I'd have been like, "Well, put me in the corner. Why, people want to watch the game." I'd be mad too. Like I was getting tweets afterward. Why is Frank Caliendo? Like what? And then I saw that I was on the whole screen. I was like, oh my goodness, let's not do it that way. Let's have people watch the game. And if I didn't know I was on the screen, I'd have turned it more into a commercial for myself.
I don't think they found you during the UConn game when you were here. You kept it low profile, as evidenced by not answering my text.
I knew it was going to be a tough game, and Mac looked over at me a couple times, and I didn't make eye contact with him because he got me the tickets, and I didn't because I didn't want to because I just saw what was happening, and because Jemiah was going crazy in the first half, like amazing. And then the beginning of the second half, they came out a little sluggish, and I didn't want to make eye contact as to throw anybody off or take the blame. As I saw it was kind of being a struggle right there. Like, you guys concentrate. I don't want to. But I did watching Mac on screen. I have 3 or 4 more new things to do with my Mac impression that I'll work on.
And you had the great pleasure of sitting like right behind him and understanding, like, John, our afternoon host and our play-by-play guy, he sits right behind him during the game, and he oftentimes complains about how he can't see the game at all because Mac is just this monstrous figure, and so he has to move around the entire game.
Frankenstein standing in front of you.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's not like it goes shoulders, neck, head. It's just head straight to shoulders. So he's basically a wall. But it is fun to watch those guys coach. I mean, just to see how much they're interacting and watching them think during that game. I mean, it's fun to be right up there like that.
Did you enjoy Jemiah's dunk at the end of the UConn game in the Big East tournament and how everybody got mad about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's an emotional kid I didn't know Jemiah before I came to see practice that week of UConn, and he's
hilarious.
He's really awesome too. He's very smart, man. He's thinking all the time and doing a lot of different things and really I don't want to say messing around because that sounds negative, but really keeping people on their toes and saying goofy stuff and fun stuff. And he's just a goofy, fun kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really great.
His bit this year was that he referred to the freshmen Ty Davis and Jackson McAndrew as his sons. And he said he would often say about how he would have to put the kids to bed and things like that. That was an ongoing thing throughout the entirety of the year, which was great.
Well, the funny thing is, Ty looks like mini Jackson McAndrew. I went out to a team dinner, and McAndrew, people don't realize he's a legit 6'10". He's not like a 6'8" guy listed at 6'10". He is all of 6'10". But from the back, their haircuts, the two of those guys, their haircuts, it's just, and they just kind of walk around together, and it's just like, man, Tweedledee and Tweedle. I don't want to say dumb because he's not dumb, but the Tweed.
Yeah.
I
got you.
They're funny, really funny, and great guys. I mean, all those guys, the whole team. I'm really a great group of guys.
Yeah, they're fantastic. All right, so then we're in town next week. How long are you touring then? How long are you out right now?
We're going to my family. I'm going with my family to Italy in May. So until then,
there we go.
Because they're going to run up the credit card bill on me. So I'm just working a whole bunch. And my mother-in-law lives at our house right now, so I don't want to be home at all.
Nice, fantastic. Yeah. So it really works out for both ends.
It's better that way. Yeah.
All right, so we'll see you in Omaha next week, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. That'll be fantastic. That's at the Funny Bone. FrankOnStage.com. You can get your tickets. The Funny Bone has them available as well. Frank, we'll look forward to seeing you around very, very soon. Thanks as always for being a friend of the show.
All right, appreciate it, man. Good to see you. Talk to you. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. All right, that's Frank Caliendo. Funny person and dear friend of ours. We just call him honestly, this is building toward an every week thing at this point.
It's headed that way. I don't know if Frank would like to just eliminate the middleman and
he's a busy guy.
Come on every week.
He's a busy guy, but we'll work something out. I don't think we can fly him out for Gruden bits like Gruden wanted to.
Well, he didn't want to go. No.
We wouldn't even have to we wouldn't put that on the table. And trust me, if
I'm not headlining, I'm not going.
If we had a bit that we wanted to do, we would certainly make Frank the star of it and not just make him like a 1 second,
It's not like we put Gary above Frank. Like it's Frank.
Yeah.
It'd be Frank centric.
No. So that's just a great 20 minutes just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Next Thursday at the Funny Bone, almost sold out.
We'll get it there.
We're going to try and get it there. We would love to get it there. Tickets are on sale. FrankOnStage.com. Funny Bone has tickets available as well. Omaha.funnybone.com. Also there for you. And what's this about the Funny Bone? What's going to happen with the Funny Bone?
Sometime this year, I don't know when, they are moving back to Miracle Hills. I believe it is the northwest corner of 114th and Dodge, sort of where DJ's used to be, where the grocery store used to be.
DJ's not there anymore.
Where Boston Market used to be. Well,
Boston Market.
DJ's moved across the
where Cubbies used to be, or
Yeah.
where
Cub Foods.
Cub Foods used
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
Oh man, there's nothing there.
No.
Dude, I used to love Cub Foods.
They've cleared out. They've acquired all that land.
Really?
There's Funny Bone. There's something else. They're gonna try and reboot that corner.
Nice. That'd be great for the Miracle Hills area of town.
It would.
Fantastic. All right.
Caddy corner from Grand China Buffet. That's right, Platt Cat.
That is true, Platt Cat.
It's a big caddy corner, but
so the next time Nebraska wins their gets to a bowl game, we all go there, and then we go see Frank at the new Funny Bone.
That's right.
Mike says on YouTube,
"Hi, Mike.
I absolutely love that Frank is a legitimate Creighton fan.
Yeah.
It fills my heart. No,
Yeah.
like that's real.
He knew the names.
He just
of
wants to
the
come on and
portal
talk Creighton
pickups.
basketball. Yeah.
Yeah. Not just they got a couple guys, but like he knew their names, he knew their positions,
and he's gathering information for future bits as well.
Right,
So
definitely.
any detail we can give him on that we can help him out with, we'd be happy to assist.
He's got to do some Creighton specific jokes, right?
Like in his stand up
when he's here. I mean,
okay, when he's here, yeah,
not everywhere.
I imagine he'll make some sort of reference to it.
Makes it kind of a unique show.
Yeah, maybe we should go.
Maybe
we should be
I
good
would
friends.
Genuinely love to go.
Hold on, what do I have next Thursday night?
Next Thursday,
baseball,
of course.
It's Easter weekend, so they move up the weekend series a day.
The Jesuit school can't play.
Well, he could come out and the game will probably be 6.5 hours long, so he could probably come down afterwards and say hello in the booth with me and John if he wanted to.
I'll do an inning.
Open invite. Open invite. All right, we are back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, so a couple things here. First of all, a good tweet from Asian Joe.
Hi, Asian Joe.
New segment idea with Frank Caliendo. Frank's Red Hot Takes. The sauciest segment in Sports Talk Radio.
A sponsored segment.
A bit.
What an idea.
We love bits, folks.
We do.
As evidenced by our show yesterday.
Have you heard and seen our bits?
A great bit. Second, in the NBA, and this is yet another tweet from Shams Charania, where I had to check and make sure it was the right Shams, not Shams Charania.
Central or
yeah, I'm not getting centelled.
Yeah.
This is real Shams, real NBA, real tomato ketchup, Eddie. Real NBA insider Shams Charania reports that the Denver Nuggets have fired Michael Malone, their head coach.
The winningest in franchise history.
What are we, 2 games shy of the playoffs?
The Nuggets have 3 games remaining on their schedule.
The coach who won the NBA title 2 years ago. He has been the coach of the Nuggets since 2015, and after his first 3 years, made the playoffs every year, including multiple trips to the conference finals and an NBA title. So I don't know why does the NBA love doing this? I admittedly, I don't really know what's going on the day-to-day with my favorite NBA basketball team, the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
But I have absolutely no reference as to why this would be happening.
There had been some chatter on the peripheral that might be Malone's last year in Denver. You know, sometimes in the NBA, a coach's voice
but why not
grows tired. Maybe just see it through to the end of the year. Maybe just roll the balls out there and see what happens with Nikola Jokic.
So Luka Doncic was traded this year for a bag of peanuts and Anthony Davis. And now
the Grizzlies fired their coach because Ja Morant was faking an injury.
That's right. And now the winningest coach in Denver Nuggets history has been fired 3 games before the playoffs are set to start. And by the way, the Nuggets are currently occupying the 4 seed in the Western Conference.
And they can move up to the 3rd seed, I guess.
Black Cat writes in, rumor has it he didn't play Trey Alexander enough. That's why he's being fired.
Definitely.
I buy it. I think that's correct. All right. So I don't know what happens in the NBA. Do I want to know? Probably not.
Just kill your favorite character right before the season finale.
Seems a little odd.
Yeah.
Seems a little odd. Now we take a phone call from Random Mike on the hotline. Hi, Mike.
Hey, can you play that little blurb from that song where you mentioned me?
Oh yeah. Well, we don't have it. We don't have it queued up. The Nebraska missed the Big Ten tournament. It's the line was, I could sing it to you right now. The line was,
okay.
Gavin Griffith's favorite player. No, Random Mike's favorite player is Gavin Griffith. Something like that. There was Gavin Griffiths and Random Mike in the same line.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. I don't know if you were watching at the end of the game when everybody was so happy. There was one exception. The dude with the glasses, totally straight-faced, and it was just kind of sad. But if you read what Hoiberg said about him at the Big Ten media days, and I mean, this is, there'd already been the preseason practices and the scrimmages and stuff. He pretty much guaranteed that he was going to have a big year. It's really sad. But hey, remember Emmett Johnson announced he was transferring. What was your reaction to that?
I thought that kind of hurts, but you could find another Emmett Johnson out there.
Okay. Yeah, and look what happened though. He's still there. This is not final, but I think what who I have no idea what's really going on behind the scenes. I was surprised he didn't transfer earlier. I don't know if you were. He kind of waited.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to probably transfer in the middle of the season.
Well, that wouldn't have surprised me at all. But I mean, definitely one of the top-rated recruits Nebraska's ever had. And again, if you look at why he was a very highly rated recruit, I mean, the dude was fun to watch. He was a scoring machine. But I mean, Connor Seachin, that's a talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was our leading scorer, I think, in this great game.
He was very good in the crowd, yes.
But I think he had virtually nothing at halftime. I mean, a lot of times how well they did, depending on if he was having a good night. But a guy like that,
that's true.
He can shoot from like half court. I mean, if he's not making his shots, keep shooting. I mean, and if they set some screens for him, which is what we're doing, so maybe he'll start like Ross Singh said. And hey, we could be a bubble team.
I think that should be the expectation going into every basketball season, right? I found that weird. I found that weird as the wording from that is like, you know what? This could be a bubble team next year. It's like it better be at least a bubble team, right?
Yeah, that's how sad the whole situation is. But I think bringing in. What do you think of bringing in Stanford from Iowa?
I think it's a pretty good pickup, and it looks like they're going to be pretty 3-point heavy next year, which is different. I mean, the identity of the last two teams have been to kind of try and really D you up and fight you a little bit and slow it down. I think this team would probably be better equipped, as it stands right now, a little bit better equipped to run it a little bit and shoot the three ball, hopefully pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to figure they're intent on still being a better defensive team than they were, in his early years.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes the personnel dictates that too, and I don't know that they have a lot of that at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I would say getting Stanford is an upset. I think most people thought, he wouldn't leave Iowa to come to Nebraska, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was thought about him. I know that there was some late buzz that he was, that a lot of those guys from Iowa were going to end up back at Iowa because, McCollum wanted to keep him. But yeah, it feels like a pretty good pickup for Nebraska.
And he said he's getting a lot of hate from Iowa, which I suppose is a good thing.
I would imagine so, yeah.
But I think him coming might have been the nail in the coffin for Gavin because they're a very similar size and skill sets, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely recruited over him for sure.
But it's not final yet, so we'll see what happens. But it is kind of sad because, like I say, if you look at his highlights, he was a really fun guy to watch, and it was really sad watching him, and he's hurt too, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, if you could find that little blurb from the song, I'd like to hear it. But Frank Caliendo, what a super guy he is.
The best. Did you see, by the way, Mike? Hold on, Mike. Did you see the clip that Arkansas had tweeted out with Cam Kojal? He's at Arkansas now. They're pretty excited about it.
Is it worth it?
Oh, somebody tweeted at us the other day, and they wondered if you made the clip, like if you were responsible for it.
Right. He's turned down Nebraska twice, and it's hard for me not to take that personally. But no, he's had a fantastic week. But if you saw him as a quarterback, man, so much fun to watch.
There you go.
Really, and people in Arkansas probably can't believe that this guy was a really talented high school quarterback. But I know they love him there, and I'm watching Arkansas games actually when I get a chance. I'm definitely rooting for him. All right, buddy, take care.
Good to hear from you, Mike. That's Random Mike, everybody.
During that phone call, the Denver Nuggets also fired their general manager, Calvin Booth.
So what's going on over there?
I don't know. They know there's still games, right? Like,
should I send a text or to somebody and say,
what the hell's going on?
Hey,
over there?
what's the deal? What's going on? Actually, no. We have Gavin Griffith's story about. He's really broken up about the Gavin Griffiths thing.
I'm glad someone is. These are people's lives.
Well, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You go to another place and you make it try and work. It's okay. Doesn't have to be the end of the world.
I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to find that spot.
Josh just wants everybody to be happy.
Yeah.
That's definitely what he was saying yesterday when we were definitely acknowledging the crown.
I wanted to be happy because everyone else was happy.
So-
Nebraska fans were happy. I was happy. Yes, you have an index finger.
Well, no, you were. It seemed like you were going to continue that sentence.
Pulled a Schaefer.
All right. So I was thinking about this earlier. I'm not here to make you people angry, but
you people.
I'm not here to make people angry,
Okay.
Josh. So this crown discourse.
You're diving back into this.
No, just give me 4 minutes.
4
This crown discourse.
All right.
And people are like, well, what's better? You win the crown or you you get your face beat in the NCAA tournament. Doesn't it sound a little bit like people being so scared of playing teams and the football schedule?
Tennessee.
They're just like, who cares? Like, what happened? I get it. I guess you've been hurt many, many times over and over and over again. But have we really been hurt that badly to where we just want to line up literal scheduled wins, even if it means foregoing playing in games that matter, aka similar to the whole Tennessee non-con series thing?
I got to get 10 wins to make the CFP. I got to win 20 to make the NCAA tournament.
No, but I don't like. No, I think it's shorter term than that. Like people will not. They do not want to forego their day-to-day happiness. Their day. So, like, if Nebraska basketball can line it up where they play a bunch of easy teams and therefore never play in any games that matter, then people would be just generally happier with that than, like, I say this at the beginning of the season because actually I got asked, Mitch and I got asked on our mailbag show last week, like something along the lines of the classic, like, hey, how do I avoid drinking the Kool-Aid for football this year?
A lot of people very worried about that.
Yeah, because I don't want to get hurt again.
Typical 16-20 the zone.
I was like,
gassing up Nebraska football.
Can you please help me? Because I don't want to buy in again, because I know if I buy in again, they'll just hurt me. And I'm like, guys, this is not real pain. This is sports pain. You don't actually get hurt by these things. You're physically okay afterwards. You survive. You live longer. And I know.
Talk to your family, your loved ones.
Yeah, your response to this is that I live and die with this. Like, this is everything to me. It ruins my day. Okay, so what? Your day is ruined.
My day is all I have, Connor.
When your favorite team loses in the NCAA tournament, yeah, your day's ruined. That sucks. But it's the pain that you need to go through in order to be stronger. You have to play in those games. You have to. You have to put your heart on the line. You cannot just simply line up easy win after easy win just to retain your positive wins above replacement happiness, to avoid going into the negatives. Oh, if I could just be this happy all the time, I could beat Doan 36 times, and then I'll just be happy. I will never be sad. If that's the way you want to live your life, that is insane to me.
But
that
Connor,
is so crazy, so bat bleep crazy. I cannot understand that.
But Connor, I go home and my wife's nagging me. The kids need braces, and I just want a little bit of happiness. And the team I rooted for since I was 10 doesn't give it to me.
Well, guess what? Keep trying, or pick another team. Whatever. If you really want to bail out that bad, just go pick another team.
Fan is short for fanatic.
I guess there's a reason that people around here are Duke and Kansas and North Carolina fans.
Why there's a lot of Chiefs fans in this town all of a sudden.
And then when they play and they lose their big games, you could just forget about them and go back to Nebraska.
I burned my Patriots gear and bought a Chiefs coat.
That mentality is absurd. It is absurd. I'd like to play in games with stakes, please. I'd like to feel something, even if that something makes me hurt. Even if Dan Hurley, after the game, is yelling at me that he has 2 rings and I'm bald. I'm just a bald, fat guy who lives in Omaha. Guess what? I want to hear that from Dan Hurley. I want him to call me a bald fatty. I want that. I want that. I want to feel it. And that way, when the Big East tournament comes up and the guy dunks at the end of the game, they want to fight you because they feel something toward you. My brain cannot wire itself.
I suppose at home when you're playing your college football video game, I suppose
I play on hard mode and I take losses. I take losses.
Connor, just reset the console.
I'm gonna text. I'll text my friend. Text in the show right now. You know who you are. Listen. We're in a dynasty together, and we lose. We lose, not purposefully, but when it comes up, we lose, and we take the losses.
Never gonna make the Hall of Fame with losses, Connor.
I don't go play Grand Theft Auto and put on the ultimate weapons cheat and the ultimate health cheat. No, I die sometimes. I die. Exactly, Josh. If we die, we die.
If we die, we die.
Did you hear the man? I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, speaking of Dan Hurley and 2 rings baldy, let's see what he has to say about that situation. He was on Pardon My Take yesterday, and he has some clarification he wants people to know about.
Oh, good. That's important.
On top of being a genuinely funny person.
You love that guy.
I do. Coming back on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
When you keep a car for a long time, it becomes a classic. When you keep
The Creighton
Another Shams tweet.
Another one?
This is the same thing. This is tied for the latest, this being Michael Malone being fired a week before the playoffs start. This is tied for the latest coaching change in NBA history for ESPN research, matching Hubie Brown in 1980, 1981.
Oh, and Hubie's doing fine.
Hubie is doing great. Hubie is doing great. The team, the Denver Nuggets, have confirmed the firing of their head coach. They were very, very respectful in their press release. Here's what it says, Josh.
Oh, okay.
It is with no pleasure that we announce that we have relieved Michael Malone of his head coaching duties, effective immediately. David Adelman will assume our head coaching role. This decision was not made lightly and was evaluated very carefully, and we do it only with the intention of giving up our group the best chance at competing for the NBA championship and delivering another title to Denver and our fans everywhere. So this is going to help them win playoff games.
That's what they think.
Okay. There's no amount of gratitude that we could properly convey to Mike Malone's contribution since he joined our franchise in 2015. It is with our utmost respect that we would like to thank Coach Malone for the most successful decade in Nuggets history, setting the all-time wins record and helping Denver deliver Denver our first championship. Damn.
That first line.
It is with no pleasure.
I'm like,
It is with no pleasure.
That is usually what people say when
Something
there was a lot of pleasure.
It gives me no pleasure, Josh. Gives me no pleasure.
It's like when you wish someone well on their future endeavors, you do not wish them well.
It gives me no pleasure to announce that Nebraska basketball has won the crown. See, I get a lot of pleasure from that. I've announced it. Josh, Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley.
Remember him?
Best coach in the sport.
He did not coach in the Final Four last night. Therefore, he did not win a national championship.
About time.
But he was on a podcast.
That's just as good.
Pardon my take, where he had some clarifications to make about some of the comments that he's made this season. Here is Coach Hurley.
The Creighton one, that gentleman waited a long time for me to get back to that tunnel. I felt like he deserved for waiting so long. It was like waiting for Santa at the mall. Like he waited forever for me to get back there. I did TV. I felt like he deserved an interaction.
Yeah.
I understood karma at that point. That's why I didn't get pissed when the kid on Creighton dunked the ball in the Big East tournament. If you noticed, I really didn't flip out. I understood that karma. I had said something to the balding guy, and then I got my comeuppance at the Big East tournament, and that's why I didn't flip out and act like the victim.
Yeah.
I got what I deserved. Karma. Balding, though. I called him Baldy. He's balding, not Baldy. and he was telling me that I sucked.
Yeah.
And that I was a horrible coach. And that, a bunch of things about, my family and, people are yelling a lot of these vile things, but mostly they're telling you that you suck. And I was telling him that I don't suck.
All right.
I love this man. I love him. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I love him.
Removing all personal biases. There's a lot to like in that clip.
I love yelling at him, but he knows it. He has a good understanding, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, look, I know if I'm going to go parade around and tell the guy that he's balding, that the guy is going to dunk on me during the Big East tournament, and I can't be mad about it. It's called karma. I understand karma.
2 rings baldy makes sense. 2 rings balding.
I don't know why he's like, I called him balding, not baldy.
Oh, that makes it better. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. But
also the boxiest hat I've ever seen a human being wear.
I know.
It was all corners. It was like the hat was built in Minecraft.
He seems like he's so insufferable during the basketball games, and you hate him so much. But he seems like such a great hang. I just want to sit around and listen to him tell stories, listen to him talk, say the word tournament a bunch. You know,
I feel like if we were sitting at a table, he'd probably like pick on the waiter after the waiter left.
Good one. Yeah.
Hey, did you notice the waiter's got a lisp? What an idiot.
Yeah. He gets it. He knows all he's got all the details, stuff like that. Jimmy on YouTube.
Hi, Jimmy.
Says, guys, Dean Blandino, speak for yourself. I say I enjoy him. I enjoy the man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm F-bombing him and cussing him and what, like, respectfully.
You should do that on Jay's Live.
Through the television.
It'd be a good Jay's Live bit.
When given the opportunity. Or I'm saying, oh, shut up. One of those things. But he does stuff like this. And I'm just like, this is great. I love this. I love that clip so much, Josh.
I don't like him. I don't like anything about him. But that's pretty entertaining. What you just played for us there.
That was from the Pardon My Take podcast.
I don't want 60 more minutes of that, but yeah.
I might go watch. I might go listen to the Pardon My Take podcast for this week. I know he went on Dan Patrick too. He didn't say any. I don't think he said anything about Creighton on that one.
Nobody says anything on Dan Patrick.
That's not true. They love Dan. People say stuff to Dan Patrick because Dan Patrick asks the real questions.
Well, speaking of that, Gino Auriemma was on Dan Patrick, and he said, I like you, Dan. You ask questions that are shorter than the answers that your guests give.
Hey, okay. Fair critique of the media.
Yes, absolutely.
Fair critique of the media. We've gotten bad at this.
Like, don't sneak a take into the question. Just ask the question.
Just ask the question. Now, it's good to kind of,
hey, here's what I'm thinking.
Here's where I'm coming from.
And the question, like, I get that.
But sometimes when you're the question asker, you have to, like, you kind of play dumb a little bit. Like,
nobody's tuning in for you. They're tuning in for the guests.
Either you ask something that you genuinely don't know the answer to, you're curious about, or you play dumb a little bit. You're like, what were you trying to accomplish on that? It's like, I know what you were trying to accomplish, but I want to hear you say it. Gino might be right. Damn, this is a tough segment, Josh.
Yeah. Don't love the place we've landed.
Gino Auriemma is right, and I love Dan Hurley.
32% of the available men's and women's basketball titles since the year 2000.
He's great. He's fantastic. Sam writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Sam.
He's worn me down and flipped me. I now find Hurley endlessly funny.
He's an important character to the infrastructure, right? Like,
oh, incredibly. Like, but that's not, to be clear, that's not the only reason why. Like, I do love the fact that he's a character in college basketball, and I do think we need that. And I think when you play him, you feel something, and that's great. But like when he talks, I enjoy it.
Yes.
I enjoy it. And it's not just because of the bit of he's a character. Like I think he's very self-aware. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
He is. I don't think he was at first.
Maybe not.
And I think he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I do those things.
Yeah. I
was calling him Balding, not Baldy.
And he says it so dry. It's like, they're, when these people, they yell all this crazy stuff about you and your family, and then they also tell you that you suck. And I was just trying to tell them that I don't suck.
He waited a long time to talk to me. I thought I should.
He warranted a response. Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. All right, back after this on 1620 The Zone. America's daytime baseball team, the Detroit Tigers, are back, folks.
They're on the air.
They are hitting home runs against. Is that Carlos Carrasco? He plays for the Yankees?
Yeah. He gave up 2 home runs in that commercial break.
Fantastic. He gave up a torque bomb and now a McKinstry bomb. Looks sunny in Detroit, Josh.
It does, but it also looks cold. A lot of hoodies being worn by the players.
Yeah. Where do you think they got their chicken wings before the baseball game started?
Not Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, just hopefully not where Cody Bellinger was.
Yes, wherever that may be.
Yes. All right, Josh. Florida won the national championship last night.
They did?
It's never surprising when Florida wins a national championship and stuff.
No.
Would you agree?
Correct.
So I was thinking last night, like, this has to be, and I went back to 2000. This has to be the school with the most, like, if I assigned a point, and I'm still working through this, so maybe you guys could help me work through this. Oh my God, they just hit another home run.
Whoa.
Is that 3 in a row?
Yes. Well,
there's one out.
Yeah, I think they got an out.
Oh, sad.
3 and 4.
You could take that torpedo bat and shove it.
Ooh.
Tigers are up 4-0. So I was thinking last night, like, if we assigned a point value, and I don't know why, but I used 8, maybe because of the College World Series, right? So I took all the College World Series participants. Let's just say you get a point for participating in the College World Series, and then you get 2 points for winning the College World Series, and then you get a point for appearing in the Elite Eight, and then 2 points for winning the national championship. Because we're trying to get a full athletic, we're not trying to weigh anything, right? It's the full picture: baseball, men's basketball, football, and then you get a point for showing up in a BCS game or a New Year's Six game or a CFP game, I guess now, and 2 points for winning a national championship. Florida in basketball since 2000 has won 3 national championships. They have also appeared in 5 other Elite Eights. Josh.
Okay.
Now,
you don't get a point for. Do you get a point for Elite Eight, Final Four, national championship same year?
1 point for the 8 and
Okay.
one extra point for a national championship. I'm open to interpretation on this. I could just, and I haven't done the official standings yet, so I'm just working through this. Florida in football since 2000 has won 2 national championships and been to 5 other New Year's Six / BCS / college football playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
Florida since 2000 has won, let's see here, just one, I believe. I think just one. I'm looking at it right now. Sorry. They've won 1 College World Series. That was back in 2018, 19, 17. 1 College World Series, but they have appeared in 9 other College World Series since 2000. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any athletic department over those 3 sports over that period of time who would add up to like more. Texas has won a couple national championships in baseball.
That was the one I was thinking of.
So Texas has won a couple. Let's see. Texas has won 1. Let's see. 2 national championships in baseball in that time, and they've appeared in 9 other College World Series. Texas has not won a national championship. Well, they won 1 national championship in 2005 in college football. And then they've been in 2 other BCS / New Year's Six college football playoff games. You don't get extra points, by the way, for being in more playoff games. Like, you just participant and winner.
A playoff run.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
basketball, they have a Final Four in 03, 06, 08, and 23. They have an Elite Eight appearance.
So where was let me just type in Texas here. Yeah, so four Elite Eights.
Correct.
Since 2000. Florida still has them in that category.
Sure.
Florida still has them in all of them. Right? LSU, that'd be up there. But like when you think about the best athletic departments from a success standpoint, like competing for championships, or maybe the better way to put this is not necessarily because what I'm trying to figure out, the original intent of this question that I was sort of asking myself last night is which athletic department is most turnkey? Like is the easiest place to win? And I know it's not easy. That's not fair because even Florida in really all of these sports has gone through downturns and they've hired wrong coaches and stuff like that. But it doesn't feel like it takes much for them to be right back in the national conversation. And it feels like they made a really good hire, obviously, with Golden. He seems like a really good coach. And they had Billy Donovan, but that's not necessarily a place that's been like that's been anchored or like you bold them out as this place has had epic coaches and they win championships. We do the blue blood thing in football, like it's similar to the blue blood conversation. But one of my qualifiers in that is, have you won multiple national championships over multiple coaches?
Yes, you
have you won multiple national championships over multiple coaches. So you're trying to figure out how much of it is due to the fact that it's the job and not the coach. What makes it easier specifically about winning there? And I would like, I would like somebody to put up an argument right now. If you can suggest a school or find one for me. Tell me a school that seems easier to win at. And we're talking about those sports. I'm sure it's athletic department wide and they recruit the best and have the best facilities and everything. But those are the three sports that we know the best. So let's just stick there.
Because if you pan out and you do like the Capital One Cup, like Florida's won 3 of those and Notre Dame's won 3 of those.
A lot of that stuff is Olympic sports though. And like Stanford wins that. You know?
Yeah, Stanford has won like almost every women's Capital One Cup.
Right. I can't think of a place. I can't think of an athletic department that has been as turnkey as that one. Florida, Texas comes to mind. LSU comes to mind. There was a time Miami. There was a time for Miami. There was probably a time for what a lot of these football schools lack. Maybe Oklahoma. You could maybe throw Oklahoma in there. There was a time where the Georgias and Alabamas of the world are, irrelevant in basketball. Alabama is growing into a basketball power now. Like Alabama, that part of it is good, and that's because they have a really good coach. But obviously, they're in a great basketball conference. Oregon, amazingly, Oregon doesn't appear very much on this list. They have 5 college football playoff / BCS bowl appearances over that 25-year stretch, but no College World Series appearance. And I don't think maybe one Elite Eight. I think I see him once on this list. 2017, one Elite Eight.
Correct.
So Oregon.
I'm sorry, 16 and 17. And this exercise.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
02 and 07.
Oh, okay. 02. Wow. Yeah, there you go. 4 Elite Eights. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. So that's an athletic department that's right up there. But give me your suggestions. The most turnkey athletic department in the country. This is the easiest place to win.
A lot of people are saying Ohio State, but I mean, they've struggled in basketball recently.
Ohio State in football Let me find them real quick. How many times are they on this list? And then let me type in Ohio State. Wow. Wow. Okay, so let me do the math here on Ohio State. Ohio State in football since 2000. 14.
Yeah, they're going to pad their stats in the football category,
BCS, New Year's Six, or CFP appearances. What? How many national titles? 2? No, 3 now because they just won. 3 national titles. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's about as good as it gets in football, but nothing in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times they show up on this list on basketball? I can think of maybe once or twice. Let me find them real quick. Ohio State. 3 Elite Eights since 2000. Yes, they've had their stats with football. So that's probably a turnkey situation, right? We get to the text line from the 402.
Hi, 402.
North Carolina. North Carolina is an interesting one because obviously they're on here a ton for baseball since 2008.
Okay.
8 College World Series appearances since 2000 for North Carolina. And I would imagine they show up on the basketball list quite a bit. So let me type in North Carolina real quick and find it. North Carolina. 10 Elite Eights plus a couple championships, right? Since 2000 in college basketball. And then let me give you the football sample size because I would imagine there's 1 or 2 of them on here for them too.
Yeah.
Lina. 0. 0 CFP, BCS, or New Year's Six appearances for North Carolina.
But they have Bill Belichick now.
But now they have Bill Belichick, so that will obviously be changing.
Definitely. And they're going to have him for a long time.
They will definitely win, and he will definitely be there for a long time. Aaron says, I think you should get... So I'm open to interpretation on this. Like, this is an incomplete list. This is an incomplete spreadsheet that I have not finished yet, but I want some input from you guys. So Aaron says, I think you should give points for making the national championship game before the playoff. That's more impressive than just making the playoff. But what I wanted to see, like, I'm trying not to do like who's been the most successful athletic department over the last 25 years. I'm trying to ask like who is in and around the conversation the most. Like I think there is where you get a better idea of kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously national title game appearances would be worth more if you're trying to find who the best athletic department has been over a period of time. No doubt about it. That would be important. But I don't know. That's not my hypothesis here. That's not exactly what I'm looking for.
Would Florida State enter the conversation at all? 1 Elite Eight appearance in our
shout out to Leonard Hamilton
predetermined time span.
Yeah, I'll tell you about Florida State.
But football and baseball are going to pad that sucker.
Florida State in football is at 8. And Florida State in baseball is at 7. So there's your answer to that question.
People are saying Virginia, even though their football stinks.
Yeah, see, no, that doesn't. So I got
just 2 Elite Eights.
I got yeah.
One title though, 1 national championship,
and they got a title in baseball and a bunch of College World Series appearances. I got an email, or I got a message here. I think the question should be, what is the easiest university to win at all major sports? And the answer should hands down be Texas. So is the fact that Texas isn't very, like, I mean, they're still obviously very complete and in this conversation a lot, but is the fact that Texas isn't like the top school on this list just tell you how bad they've been at hiring coaches, basically, recently?
Yes, I would say that. I mean, because
they've been through a lot of crap in basketball now, and they've been through a lot of crap in football.
And
until now, until they've gotten good now.
Florida, with all the points that they have, I mean, they've ebbed and flowed in basketball and football throughout the course of the last 25 years.
I know. That's why I said, like, I was thinking last night, I'm surprised. I'm always surprised when they're not in it. You know, they always have the talent. I mean, they've been busy not doing jack in football, and they still got Lagway, you know, like he's a great player. He's a really, really good player.
What do they say? Well, I coach in the state of Florida because you can fall ass backwards into talent.
Dude, you really can.
Scott Frost.
Shout out to Scott Frost. Shout out to my guy.
Your guy.
That's my guy. I love Scott Frost. By the way, the Detroit Tigers have hit another home run. Another home run has hit Detroit.
5-0.
5-0. And the Yankees,
this is a different pitcher.
Yeah, different pitcher. They brought in what's his name? He was a Royal last year. Yarborough.
Cale Yarborough?
No, that's a NASCAR driver from like 1988.
His son. It's got to be his son.
No, Steven
Yankees Yarborough.
He got hit in the head.
Everyone gets hit in the head.
He got hit.
Ryan Yarborough.
Ryan Yarborough. He was a pretty good Royal. I kind of liked him for a second.
Sounds like it.
Wes says, what about Michigan?
Michigan.
So Michigan has let's give me a second here. So Michigan has
do this together.
Michigan has 1 baseball point on here, right?
They have
1 baseball point.
Oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4 basketball points.
Okay. And no natties, right?
Correct.
And they have 8 football points and 1 natty. So I guess 9.
Basketball played for 2 natties, lost both of them.
Once again, no extra points.
No extra points.
No extra points.
But I know someone is screaming at their radio, like, oh, but what about?
So you look at the 65 or whatever there are power athletic departments. All those schools are going to come up a bunch. I'm trying to hone in on the formula that gets me to the end of this road and then finally come up with an answer to this question. Oklahoma, Matthew says, I mentioned them earlier. That's one. I think you're thinking about Florida. You're thinking about, I mean, we could get it down to a list of 10 probably right now, right? Florida, Florida State, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon. It's just so hard in baseball with those northern schools, though. So maybe I don't know, because once again, you don't get more points for winning in football, even though you do, like in real life. In this life, we're keeping it straight across all the sports. 1 point for baseball. You know, I mean, Ohio State's like they're not going to get any points for baseball. I'm sorry, Nick, but there's not going to be any Big Ten teams winning national titles anytime soon. I know he's
wow. Clip that.
I apologize. They're not going to be winning any national titles in baseball anytime soon. That includes Oregon, LSU, absolutely O trips. Calvin says Tennessee obviously has won a national championship now in baseball and has many appearances and things like that. Bullet Point Bob has emailed into the show.
Hi, Birdie Putt Bob.
Off the radar here a little bit. He says, I would put K-State up as an impressive, consistent winner. So then you're getting into the category of people of like
maximize.
Yes. Yeah. Iowa. Iowa. Are they among the biggest maximizers in the country? K-State among the biggest maximizers in the country. I mean, there's some like there's your West Coast baseball schools. You know, there's your UC Irvines who showed up in here a bunch of times. You know, Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, that's where they would.
Cal State Fullerton has 8 College World Series appearances since 2000, and they ain't been here in a while, Josh.
That's right.
They have not been here in a while. For the record, Nebraska appears on this list just the 3 times. Well, I guess no. They did appear in a BCS Bowl in 2001.
Point for winning the crown, though, right?
No point for winning the crown. They've never made an Elite
Did you
Eight,
watch
Josh.
the crown?
They don't get a point for that, Josh. You don't get a point for that.
But they ended the season on a win.
Nebraska has. I wonder which Power 5 athletic departments only have 4 points.
Oh.
I bet there's a lot of power athletic departments who have more than 4 points, Josh.
Michigan
This
State.
is over 25 years.
Mm-hmm. A quarter of a century.
Michigan State has a bunch of basketball points on here.
They made a
and
CFP
they made a
once.
CFP, and they've made a couple BCS. They made a couple BCS games as well. So yeah, they have more.
What's Washington?
It's amazing that Nebraska's 4 points on this. If we were doing it that way, Nebraska's 4 points. 3 of them are for baseball. 3 of them are for baseball, and they haven't won anything of significance since then.
And if you moved that cut line in a little bit,
if you moved it to like 05, all the points are gone.
Yeah.
if you literally moved it to 2000, to started it at 2006, so over the last 20 years, Nebraska would have no points. Period. All right, let's take a quick break here. I want your guys' thoughts on that. We'll be back after this here on 1620 The Zone. On this athletic department discussion here, Sam writes in on Twitter.
Hello, Sam.
Texas is interesting, too, because they had like 15 years of Rick Barnes having a top 25 KenPom team that lose too early in the tournament. So if that goes the other way, all of a sudden people are thinking they're a better basketball job. Yeah, I think like you're basically coming down to Texas, Florida, and LSU.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Texas and Florida, and like not how much success have you had, but if you get the head coach job at Texas in one of those three sports, you're like, I am cooking.
I think
I'm good now. With that being said, they've had some coaches who have sucked.
Sure.
And they have just been okay, gotten to NCAA tournaments, gotten to good bowl games or whatever, and then got fired because they weren't good enough.
Right.
And that's when Texas firing coaches over and over again, you're like, actually, you know what? I kind of get it.
Yeah, I think it's Texas and Florida, pretty clear 1-2, and then there's a little bit of a gap.
Yeah. So I can finish that list up at some point. It sounds like a good summer job, to be honest with you, but just came up to my head last night. I figured we'd talk about it here. Connor doing math, as Douglas says. And then he was mad at me because I had to bring up Nebraska and the fact I'm sure people were wondering how many times Nebraska showed up in the list, and the answer was 4.
Creighton has a point.
Creighton has a point for making an Elite 8. People forget that. Creighton, notoriously not a football school and not a power conference necessarily school.
It's interesting. No points for the crown.
There's a lot of teams with points, Josh.
No points for the crown.
A lot of teams with points. Now let's take a phone call from our good friend Greg in Myrtle Beach, live from San Antonio. Hello, Greg.
How are you, Hap?
I'm fantastic. Great to hear from you.
Good to be with you, sir.
What's going on?
39th straight Triple Crown, Final Four, then to the Masters, and then to the Kentucky Derby to see the most beautiful creatures ever, and the horses are not bad either, Hap.
Okay, nice, Greg. Nice.
I had to call you, brother. Other than dodging homeless people in downtown San Antonio who are trying to pee in trash cans, I can't believe what I'm hearing about this being the greatest Final Four in history.
Who said that?
It's all over the press. What you've noticed, other than the fact that this was the first Final Four in decades where I didn't get to hang out with my man Bill Walton, which is sad. But that college basketball has turned to crap. And I've often said basketball is like church. Many attend, but few understand. And anyone who claims that was the best Final Four ever is a mental midget. If this sport, the whole entire sport is in jeopardy as far as quality of play. It's the only sport that I'm aware of that I can see out there, and I'm not a soccer guy, where the quality of play continues to get worse every decade. Basketball is supposed to be a beautiful game of skill, and it's not supposed to be a street brawl. And it's not an old man take. It's a true take. Our coaching has declined so far because we've lost so many of our game's giants and the best teachers due to this NIL crap. And NIL means no intelligence likely. Okay, when you watch this, it's cost us Krzyzewski, Jay Wright, Roy Williams, Tony Bennett, on and on. And these guys are my friends. Okay, I knew Roy when he was a high school coach. And Roy would coach for free. He still goes to all the damn games. And it's not that Roy Williams can't coach you. It's just that he won't coach you. Because you walk in at the end of the year, if you're Caleb Love with your shoe pimp and your parents who are pimping you, and you say, if I don't get this, this, and this, I'm taking me and Walker Kessler out the door. And they're not going to ever tell you this publicly because they don't want to damage the program that they've left. So what did you actually see if you watched the game? Competitive games don't mean that the games are great. There are a dozen Duke teams that I can name off the top of my head that are better than that. So did you ever see Duke, give up an 11-2 end of the game run with Coach K on the bench, Hap?
Well, I don't know. Not off the top of my head. I don't think so.
Yeah, they couldn't even inbound the damn ball, and they had a timeout. Yeah. And then in the national championship game, what did we see last night? Houston turns it over 4 times in the last minute and 21 seconds, and that's the biggest joke of a last-second play call I may have ever seen. So, whatever you think about our sport, which is in peril, when you think about it, tape or film, it doesn't lie. So look at the late 70s. Okay, you're talking almost 40, 50 years ago. In the teams of Houston with Olajuwon, Drexler, the Olajuwon, Drexler, Larry Mishaw, Michael Young, Barry Anders, Benny Anders, Final 14 would name the score on this damn Houston bunch last night. The late 70s Duke teams with Jaminski, Gene Banks, who was Duke's first great black player, Spinarkle, Denard, and Bob Bender would roll those clowns, including Cooper Flagg. So what we're doing now is we're paying turds $500,000 a year who can't play dead in a cowboy movie. We had I know what I'm talking about because this is how I earn a living, okay? There were 6 kids who played substantial minutes in the Final Four half who shoot below 55% from the free throw line. The free throw line. It's all of this continuing, ongoing. We've got to make everything fair for students. We've got to kiss their butt. It's a bunch of crap. This portal. We've got guys 27 years old playing college basketball. I did Sterling Henderson's NIL deal. Everybody calls him Scoot. He's the best 21-year-old point guard in the world. He's 21. He's in his second year in the league half. There's people who are all this COVID crap and all these players. Get a job. Give an opportunity to high school players. Move on. Why do we have 27-year-old players playing college basketball? And why do we have everything is designed to protect the player? Coach Wooden always said when Alcindor and Bill Walton came to him about their facial hair and said, Coach, we have the right to grow our facial hair in protest of society. And he said, yes, Lewis, you certainly do. And I have the right to determine who plays at UCLA. And at UCLA, we don't have long hair and we don't have facial beards. But now everything has been twisted completely on its head. You have to explain everything to a player. So I don't have to explain anything to you. We're running the 131 diamond press because I'm the damn coach. And if you don't like it, leave. And take your shoe pimp with you. And it's disgusting, Happer. You ought to see it. You go out and it's parents literally prostituting their kids. You got players. I see players I've been to 3. These guys been at 7, 8 different places. How was that allowed? I've been at 3 or 4 freaking high schools. Now COVID's been over for 3 years. And this crap is, like I said, this is my 39th in a row. It's almost unwatchable, Hap. Am I the only person seeing this? Or does anybody care about our great game? The sound that you hear is Coach Wooden rolling over in his damn grave. Look what they're doing to our game. It's a farce. Greg,
it's great to hear from you. Believe me when I tell you, it's excellent to hear from you. I do have some thoughts on what you said, but we are running out of time. Travel back safely, okay?
On to Augusta.
Okay, on to Augusta we go. That's Greg in Myrtle Beach, everybody.
Rack 'em.
So
hates the game so much, went to the Final Four.
So, well, he makes his living paying
shoe pimps.
Turds. The player movement thing has not been healthy. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say that.
Maybe find your spot instead of just, it didn't work out, I'll go somewhere else.
Right. But that's the other thing. I think the best ones realize that. Or maybe the lucky ones realize that. And they're like, hey, look, the grass isn't greener on the other side. Just because they're paying me more money doesn't mean I'm going to be better off for doing that. But there's definitely less of these days, like giving yourself to a program, giving yourself to a coach, giving yourself to whatever for 4 years and saying, all
Make
right,
me better.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not as much the mentality, especially with the top ones these days. That's for sure. If we're to do a old man deal. But thank you for calling in, Gregor Myrtle Beach.
Always great to hear from Greg.
That guy's everywhere. I like the text messages that we get. We always read them. And we always like when we hear from him on the phones as well, because he's always stirring it up. And the chat's always saying, I think either I really like this guy or you got to get this guy out of here. That's good.
Those are the best things for a show like ours.
All right, we're back after this with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone.
This is on you, producer Josh.
All right, to the polls, everybody. Interesting comment from a couple from the 402, actually.
Hi, 402.
Jason and Pender says that man should be a weekly guest. And from the 402, honestly, I'd rather listen to Greg and Myrtle Beach than some of your regular guests that you have on. Get him a weekly spot.
Whoa!
We allow Greg to call in freely, just like everybody else, and share their opinions on this show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a melting pot, Josh.
Greg is a friend.
Greg is a dear friend. All right, to the polls. Could we win the Olympics with... Do you win the Olympics?
That's right. That's why I made this a poll question. Thank you for picking up on that.
Could we win the Olympics with 20 Nova Scotia boys? This was a Matt McMaster special. As if you couldn't tell from the question. I'm going to say no.
Seems
you'll
unlikely.
need more athletes.
Yeah.
68% say no. And finally, does Rhode Island have the best gabagool?
Couldn't possibly.
Nah, I think they got better somewhere else. 69%
Nice.
say no. They do not have the best gabagool. Josh, those are the polls. What are we watching
We're
tonight?
watching our beloved Detroit Tigers play baseball against the Yankees. They're up 5-0 in the 7th on
Home runs.
on
MLB
Network. It is. Can we just go back to calling him Tariq Skubal?
Well, his day is done.
His day is done? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He just threw 6 innings, and it's bitterly cold outside.
Okay.
So Brant Herder's come in.
Okay. Well, good luck to him. He's got a nice lead. Don't blow it. White Sox Guardians at 3:00 on MLB Network. TBS game of the week. Phillies in Atlanta to take on the Braves at 6:15. Atlanta's first game since Saturday. What could go wrong? Astros Mariners 8:40. Your MLB TV free game of the day. College baseball. Nebraska at number 22, Kansas.
Well, now, Josh, hang on. What'd you say? Number 22?
Number 22, Kansas. They got one of those little numbers by their name, does Kansas.
Nebraska
used to have one of those.
Nebraska, they winning that thing tonight.
6:00 ESPN Plus. Or you could, at the same time, listen to Connor Happer call Creighton, try to win their 18th midweek game in a row. Is that right?
That is correct, Josh.
That's a very long streak.
They did it. They never lost LeVar Ball all of last season.
LeVar Ball lost his foot.
That's right. They could take my foot, but they can't take away my Primby account. That's what he says on TikTok these days.
6:00, 11:80.
I'm not swerving that corner. Whoa.
Creighton, North Dakota State. NBA doubleheader on TNT. The Celtics are in the Garden to take on the Knicks at 6:30. It's gone really well for the Celtics every time they've played the Knicks this year. They win by double digits every time. Warriors Suns at 9:00. Connor, tonight, I know you know this, but I got to tell the audience, 7:00 on ESPNU. Game 1 of the 2025 NBA G League Finals.
No kidding.
The Stockton Kings are set to face Mac McClung and the Osceola Magic.
Damn it. You can't get rid of that guy.
You can't.
He's everywhere.
He's like a cockroach. NHL doubleheader on ESPN. Maple Leafs Panthers at 6, followed by Golden Knights Avalanche at 8:30. Connor, the final season of The Handmaid's Tale is on Hulu. I thought the show ended 6 years ago, but it is still going.
I haven't heard much buzz about The Handmaid's Tale lately.
June's unyielding spirit and determination pull her back into the fight to take down Gilead. Luke and Moira join the resistance. And finally, on Netflix, my next guest needs no introduction with David Letterman, where he'll be talking to WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark.
Oh, we finally got to the Caitlin Clark thing.
Caitlin Clark.
No kidding.
She's on your televisions.
Wow. Josh, thank you for telling me about all those things.
Thank you, Connor.
That is what we're watching tonight, and that is the show. If you missed any part of the show, there's great news for you. There's many ways to get the show. It gets cut up in small segments without many commercials on like Spotify, things of that nature. You can find that all at 1620thezone.com. You can just reverse the YouTube video. That's available. Frank Caliendo was on the show today.
Frank, our friend.
Our close personal friend. And he once again apologized for ignoring / not seeing my text at the basketball game this year.
I think you could ask him for something and he'd give it to you.
He owes me one.
He feels bad.
So you can find all of the show at 1620thezone.com. Crossover is coming up next.